And it looks like we are indeed live. Welcome to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Community, where tattooers, artists, apprentice hopefuls, collectors, and people just who appreciate art are encouraged to join in these live streams. That's right, this is live. So if you are an artist and you are looking to beam in, you can go to either the app stores and download the Reinventing the Tattoo app, or go to community.reinventingthetattoo.com. And then you will find, if you go to the events link inside of the community, then you can find the Zoom link, and then you could actually zoom in and join the paint jam. Otherwise, you could simply enjoy the conversation. This particular show and live stream is a paint jam with Renee Little. I believe we've got a bird lined up for tonight, which will be a lot of fun. And yeah, so let's see here. Also in that community, or on the YouTube channel, or in the podcasts, and not as much in the Facebooks, because we did a figure drawing class and there was some naked people parts, so they banned us from there. But anyways, check out the YouTube channel and subscribe to it, because we will always be beaming out from there. And there are tons of there's tons of on-demand replays. There's previous art jams, a couple of them with Renee, in fact, as well as regular drawing groups that we have. Then there's interviews, discussion panels, critiques, there's drunk critiques. The Reinventing the Tattoo YouTube channel is the spot to go to connect with all of these amazing shows. If you're not quite sure exactly where to start, or if you have a friend that you want to turn on to all of this amazing program, you could send them to, let's see, the URL is Reinventing 24/7, and it's really easy to remember. I'm going to screen share this, and you'll get an idea of what's going on. So you'll see here, we've got, well, it looks like this is a Reinventing Tattoo Design with Russ Abbott and Guy Aitchison. There is a Reinventing Drawing Group with Jake Meeks, number 10. We've got the Equinox Art Jam. So this is basically 5 channels of 24/7 art inspiration. Yeah, so this is Android Jones, and Aja Lu did a live jam, and a whole mess of psychedelic artists, including Guy Aitchison. We're jamming out. We've got the Tattoo Collecting Podcast with Mindy Robertson, and then we've got more channels here down at the bottom. Hablamos Arte con Bruno. We have a Spanish art jam. So if you speak Spanish, then this would be the channel for you. I don't speak Spanish, but it is amazing. As you could tell, the artwork is awesome. And if you're learning to speak Spanish, it's perfect. Anyways, Reinventing 24/7, we've got 5 channels of awesome programming going on. Thank you very much to all of our sponsors. And you'll see here, you could fill out a form for a soon-to-be famous Reinventing the Tattoo sample pack. We want to make sure that we get your shop name and shop address, because you do need to be a tattooer to get the sample packs. They include Cheyenne needles sample packs, as well as raw pigments. And so yeah, fill it out. There's a couple of questions, and bam, that's Reinventing 24/7. I was very psyched to get that rolling and going. Weekly shows that are going off like clockwork. It's pretty amazing. Every Sunday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon is the Reinventing Drawing Group with Jason Leeser. At 9 p.m. on Sunday nights is the Tattoo Weekly with Jake Meeks from the Fireside Tattoo Network, Lauren Gregory from Reinventing, and then me, I'm Gabe Ripley, nice to meet you, from Tattoo Now. We all go over highlights of the previous week's shows, because we have so many of them going on. We talk about some of the great things that are coming up. We talk about the news that are happening in the day or of the week in the tattoo world, and then we bring in some guest interviewers and whatnot. I think we have Guy Aitchison coming on the next show, and sometimes he gets to interview people too. Australia's in lockdown. Anyways, that's 9 p.m. the Tattoo Weekly. Mondays 9 a.m. bright and early is an early bird drawing group hosted by Kier. Monday at 9 p.m. is a subscribers exclusive exercise with Guy Aitchison. Every week you could get your exercises critiqued by Guy Aitchison himself. It's actually fantastic. It's amazing. Unlike all of the million Learn How to Tattoo programs on Facebook, this one includes, again, weekly exercises and direction from Guy Aitchison, who is a master tattooer and teacher. He's been doing it for a wicked long time. This is actually reinventing the tattoo. This is his whole brainchild and idea. Okay, that's Mondays, every Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. Tuesdays at 10 a.m. is a drawing group with Ricardo Struvenot. Sorry, Ricardo. He's always got really awesome exercises planned out. Wednesdays at 12 noon is the Tattoo Now show. That's the one that I will actually do the interviewing with. It's a lot of fun. I've had like Mike DeVries was on the show. Thea Duskin was on recently. Fawn Baker from the Tattoo Collecting Podcast. Speaking of the Tattoo Collecting Podcast. Okay, so Thursdays at 10 a.m. is a fundamental exercise with Kier. All skill levels are encouraged to come, especially apprentices and apprentice hopefuls, although sometimes a master tattooer will drop in. Everyone needs to work on their fundamentals. Thursdays 10 a.m., Thursdays 12 noon, Tattoo Collecting Podcast. Whew. Okay, I'm going to take a deep breath. If this is working for you, please let us know in the chat rooms. And it does seem like it is going out, which is great. We will be talking about a couple of more things, and then we'll switch on the art jam here. Okay, a couple ways to support the show. We have real world events. October 3rd to the 6th is the Paradise BYOB. That's literally less than a week away, but you could catch the, well, if you want to show up, there are still limited tickets available, and there's a pretty awesome set of seminars happening in person, including one from Renee. You can get nearly all of those seminars virtually if you want to, so you get to take your dose of paradise the way you want it. You have the freedom to choose virtual or in person. Courses.reinventingthetattoo.com for the virtual BYOB, and just paradisebyob.com for the full schedule and registration for in-person classes. Let's see, so November 12th to the 14th is the Brussels Tattoo Convention, and it's pretty hot COVID-wise, so we will not be making the trek over there this year, unfortunately. I believe Kim is still doing a show, so if you're in Europe and you can get there, check it out. Brussels Tattoo Convention. February 5th to the 6th is Reinventing the Tattoo Live at the Red Tree Tattoo Compound. It's also the True Tubes compound from Morrison's amazing. Again, it's a compound. He had a big, massive freak festival there, I think this last weekend. It's got a big outdoor space. It's got some indoor space. Anyways, that's February 5th to the 6th. April 11th to the 14th is going to be an inspiring tour. It's actually an inspiring bed and breakfast, 3 days with Nick Baxter and Sean Barber painting in New Hampshire. It's a beautiful spot. The Inspiring Tours website is being updated as we speak. Actually, not as we speak, we're speaking and I'm not doing it, but I am working feverishly to get the website going. If you're interested in reserving a spot, I believe it's like $2,000, which includes the 3 days of seminars, the bed and breakfast for 3 or 4 days, and then breakfasts, one big meal, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun and dedicated to, well, like I said, furthering your painting and your tattooing. That Sean and Nick are going to be doing a collaborative tattoo to wrap that up. Okay, Hell City, Columbus, hellcity.com, May 20th to 22nd, 2022. July 8th to the 10th is the Rock River Tattoo Art Expo, tattooartexpo.com, outside of Chicago area. Then July 29th to the 31st is Rubber City Tattoo Invitational. And October 20th to the 23rd is the Paradise Tattoo Gathering. And I believe we're getting the poster together with from Kai Heitland and Marcus Leonard. And they said that they would make it. So if they're saying that they're coming, we're going to fucking do it, right? So Paradise Tattoo Gathering, October 20th to the 23rd. Pandemic pending will be on. Okay. Let me thank our sponsors real quick. Thank you so much, Renee, for your patience. Like I was saying earlier, courses.reinventingthetattoo.com. We can't teach you how to tattoo online, but we can help you learn to tattoo better. There are some really awesome people that are doing great, both original art and tattooing seminars. Check it out. Oh, there's even a how to build a tattoo machine by hand seminar. Tony Urbanek is awesome. It's like an 8-week course where you're hand filing a tattoo machine by hand. It's amazing. Okay, courses.reinventingthetattoo.com, inkjetstencils.com. You can print your stencils from your iPad or from your computer. You could do full back pieces and sleeves if you get crazy with it, or you could hammer out tons of flash if you're doing Flash, right? So inkjetstencils.com, check out their videos, and yeah, you can yeah, it saves your hands or your apprentice's hands, saves you a little bit of time, a little bit of money. On the Instagram, Interstate Ink LA is Church's tattoo shop. And if you are in recovery or you need to be in recovery and you're an awesome artist, but you need to be in a shop that's supportive of a clean and sober lifestyle, Interstate Ink LA. And yeah, you should check out his sneakers. He's got a great interview. I call it kicking it with church. It's kind of cheesy, but his shoes are awesome. His tattoos are awesome. And yeah, check it out. Interstate Ink LA on the Instagrams. Rawpigments.co are acrylic-free inks, so they don't dry out in your cup. If you go to reinventing247.com, scroll down to the bottom and fill out the information, you can get some samples. And then instead of just hearing us talk about it, you can try them out yourself. DLyze Pro is known as Dermalyze worldwide. Thank you to international copyright laws. They are DLyze Pro in the United States. It's a healing wrap designed to heal wounds. It's breathable plastic wrap. So check out their videos. They've got an amazing set of people using their stuff. This is a Total Tattoo magazine. Thank you, Total Tattoo. There's a Future of Tattoo Conventions. This is actually an article from one of our streams. Anyways, so yes, that's DLyze Pro. Then let's see, tattoonnow.com. I'm a computer geek. If you need any website stuff, CRM stuff, client relationship, software, or just straight up business consulting, I've lost more business in weeks than most people ever make in their lifetimes. And I will show you how not to. It's horrifying how things can roll if you're not careful. But it's amazing how awesome they can be if you pay attention. Okay, anyways, the founder and inspiration of the Reinventing the Tattoo community and the Canon and Guy Aitchison has been at the forefront of, again, inspiring tattooers and how to better themselves and artists on how to better themselves since the mid-90s. It's been over 2 decades at this point. GuyAitchison.com, check it out. He's got his tattoos, he's got his artwork, he has tattoo machines, he's got his massive biomech encyclopedia that you should absolutely pick up. And I am now going to hop into the background, and first I'm going to bring out Renee. I'm going to ask her to unmute. So you might have to click it yourself.
Yep, got it.
And, hey, how goes it?
How goes it? That was a lot. You guys have like a lot of people involved. That was more than last time.
More and more every time, right? Some of the other streaming hosts really have it down. Like I was saying, I think this might have been the first intro that I've done in like a week or two. Well, Lauren's doing awesome, Sandy's doing awesome, and Jason's been doing a bunch, Kier's been doing a bunch. I think Ricardo, I think everyone's basically doing their own intros and a lot of their own tech, which is amazing. So I can't thank them and the Reinvented community and you enough to keep participating. It's pretty awesome. So last thing, if you're watching, then please tag a friend who might be down with some painting of birds or tattoo talk. And yeah, let's talk about you now. How are you doing?
Oh, wonderful. It's lovely here in Oklahoma, and my gallery is finally being finished, pretty much being completely built out. We've had a lot of new additions, so it's been a wild couple months.
Awesome.
But yeah, we got them in, and oh my gosh, I just like, this is the time of year that I am most happiest because it's fall and it's breezy, and it's, we're finally feeling that here. So hallelujah.
I absolutely love, fall's my favorite time of year. October is my birth month. But here we have the foliage, right? So everything's just starting to turn colors, and
yes,
it's a beautiful ride. I've been driving up to Jiminy Peak a couple times a week now, and yeah, it's a beautiful ride. Anybody that makes it in person is going to really dig it.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited to see the fall colors because I'm a Floridian gal, and so we have brown and we have dark green and we have brown and brown, some more brown. So even in Oklahoma, we have fall for maybe a week or two, and then a really bad freeze, and then all the leaves just disappear. They just go to the ground, in big puddles, and then our winter is just like this wet, frozen thing. And so I'm really excited to do some plein air painting outside and see all those fall tones. I was
I'm pretty.
actually oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say I'm psyched for the plein air. Like I was saying earlier, I'm amping up a couple phones so that we could stream the plein air outside.
I am so that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for figuring that out.
Mhm.
Because even like speaking, I was thinking like I'm trying to try to get like a little speaker and like a headset microphone so I don't have to like scream at everybody.
Because you will be outside, right?
And I'm so
No.
yeah, I'm mousy. Yeah, I don't speak loud. So I'm like, well, maybe I should just get like a headset and there's like little boom boxes you can get on Amazon.
Yeah,
So
like a little Bluetooth speaker. That'd be cool, actually.
mhm. Yeah, and just so I don't have to scream and I don't have to like face, I can actually like I don't know, I'm trying to set it up so it's really legible, like everyone can see me very clearly and hear me really clearly, but no harsh efforts.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm going to put myself into the background here, and then actually I'm going to mute myself and let you give a little bit of an intro to what you're doing tonight. And while you do that, I'm going to take a couple minutes to switch over my tech and hop on my other phone so that I could hang on and
Oh yeah, go for it.
rejoin the call. Okay, so I'll be back in, like I said, like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, maybe.
Okay.
Awesome, thank you.
No problem. Yeah, go for it. It's okay.
Oh, and actually, the last thing I want to say is if you're painting along, you can download the Reinventing the Tattoo app or go to community.reinventingthetattoo.com. And if you go to the events link, you will find a Zoom link where you could join the Zoom. So awesome. Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay. Bye, Gabe. Okay. All of what he said, all that technical stuff and all that computer stuff. If you want to comment or anything like that, I really do like taking comments while I'm working because I am working. I am focused on what I'm doing, but I can talk. And that is a whole other skill that I've just developed over time. So the more questions you guys ask me, at least I have some direction of which, where I can help the most. So tonight, I'm working on some nice arches paper. Um, tape it down for a good border. I'm just kind of going in with my darkest points with a pencil, just some nice graphite over my drawing to really bring out some foreground points. I'm probably going overboard, so I will stop here soon. But what I'll do is try my best to do a one-shot painting tonight in watercolor. I've been painting birds for a really long time, especially during COVID. These were like some warm-ups I was doing. I was planning on doing all these bigger pieces and like, oh, let me do some warm-ups. It's been a second since I've done watercolor. And I just end up doing them the entire time of COVID shut down for tattoo shops. Um, and was able to sell enough of them online to, help support my studio, while I was shut down. So they are very kind of special to me in the ways of they're relaxing, they're quick. I can get a lot of information down pretty quickly, and they're just, I don't know, they promote a lot of joy. So if you are trying to look for something like non-intimidating, and you do watercolor or you're interested in doing watercolor, these are kind of like a really nice paste painting that it takes just a few moments to set up. And you don't have to do birds. You can do, just flora and fauna or any kind of floral type things that, sometimes getting anatomy down is really difficult. But, throws down some leaves and loosely paint. Is the key. And it helps for me in tattooing. It really helps me kind of warm up my mind and get down some ideas. And I don't have to think so much about my composition on skin and on the body parts. I can just have a nice square again and work some images out. So this one I'm just using, what am I using? Let's see, what am I using? I'm using some Winsor & Newton watercolors, and I just have some of my travel brushes. I do have some other brushes I want to try out tonight. I'm trying to find some more, cost-effective brushes for my seminar. I don't think anyone's gonna absolutely love to paint as much as I do. Maybe and invest in these really good silver travel brushes. These guys are they're awesome. You know, they're worth it if you want to get a good travel brush. There's a lot of them. If you literally just type in collapsible watercolor brushes, a bunch of different companies will come up. And I've tried a couple, and they're all really good. You know, it's just about what kind of hair you want. I try to go for synthetics as much as I possibly can, and they're doing a pretty good job these days. But I want to try these guys out. They're real rudimentary. They're like basically stick on a brush, but surprising, they feel really nice. So I'm kind of curious, and I figured I have I picked a composition with a lot of background, a lot of just big open spaces since this is a one shot. Actually, let me get a smaller brush. I'm gonna not use straight black, but let's start with our darks first and get that all together. Let's see. This month has been insane. And I'm always really thankful to do these projects because this stuff it does heal the mind. It does calm down your heart a little bit, make you have some hand-eye coordination that you don't normally do. No one's around unless, you're speaking on an archived video to the internet. But once you forget about that, then it's very quite calming. And I don't know about everybody else, but it's been a little crazy. So getting back to reality. It's been pretty busy. So
It's fun. You end up tattooing to or sorry, talking to future people.
yeah, I'm talking to future people right now. And I think about that. So I'm like, oh, it's being archived. Oh God. But yeah, I'm whenever I speak when I'm painting, I always try to think of like what is the end goal of this? And then I separate all my topics, and then I like, okay, all right, this is gonna be for future people, and hopefully, I can have a roundabout story at the end. It all comes together. So I'm just kind of laying down a lot of water first. And what that's doing is priming that paper to transfer that medium around. That's what I like about watercolor. It's all how you put down your water and which technique. And I am just doing a huge space right now. So let's blend. So far these brushes are doing okay. I'm making everyone palettes, Gabe. It's really cute. I'm having a really fun time doing it. I'm using my like old school punk rock zine skills.
Oh, nice.
Little...
For the plein air, you mean? So everyone's gonna have
Yes.
you have pre-made palettes. Awesome.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do it how I do it. There's all these ones that are amazing online, but I like break those. So I just figured, hey, we're tattooers, we're kind of in the same lifestyle. Like I could buy these, like there's these Winsor & Newton ones that are this really like hard plastic that's super light. And if you're a gentle painter, they might work for you. But I need to throw this thing in a backpack and it be crushed up against my iPad, all my sketchbooks, like all that stuff. And I've had so many palettes break on me that I thought it just doesn't work. So I figured I'd just make everyone the same palette that I have, and then there's no confusion also when I'm going through stuff. So it's been really fun actually, just creating little things for people.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it is fun when people are doing the exercises. You'll see when people like explore and whatnot. But a lot of just having the same kind of tools to follow along with really helps, obviously, with
oh yeah,
doing what you want it to do.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And it's so different though. Like you kind of go, I naturally want to go against my own system because I think I do everything insanely. Like I think I always have like the most difficult way of going about things. But then ultimately it's like, oh no, that's why I'm showing them this because they might find inspiration, or there might be one thing I do that they never thought of. So I'm just going to go for it and just hope everyone has fun and kind of
Absolutely
sees how I think about things. because a lot of it with plein air, it's like I know I'm gonna actually like get up and like make grids in the sky of like what I'm looking at, you know. So I actually figured to be pretty active, which is fun. Yeah, I'm gonna come out. Hopefully I'll get there just a little early so I can really pick a good spot, because I'll be part of it too. I'm teaching people like how to find a good location. And so, you know, it's all about chasing that light.
Yeah, and the Jiminy Peak is just, it's an old ski resort, right? So it's just
Mhm.
beautiful. The mountains are awesome. It's tons of space for the amount of people that are there, which is great too for for what's going on with the COVID and the variants and all that. There's like I said, plenty
Mhm.
of space, plenty of air.
Mhm. Yeah, I
It's
love to be
beautiful.
outside. Yeah. No, I think it's really nice. I decided to drive because I'm going to be bringing so many different easels and paintings, and I just, yeah, I can't wait to have like, I don't know, it's just a moment even just to go off and paint some oil landscape or something.
Yeah,
Um I'm gonna be out since I am the plein air planner. I guess I am gonna be outside the entire time. And then taking everyone else's seminars, I'll be inside. But
with the exception of when there's slideshows that are necessary, I realized that both the stage and the seminar room both are right outside patios. So
oh, that's great.
there's a fair amount of opportunity for people to just move if they wanted to move their seminars outside.
Mm. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. I hope the weather's I think the weather is gonna be beautiful, right? It's gonna be like kind of chilly at night, but
I mean, if it was like it was the last two times I was up there, then yeah, it was like, I don't know, 68, 70 degrees, Yeah, maybe it gets
oh
a little
wow,
chilly at night, but like, yeah, not that bad.
that's
Yeah.
great. I'm very excited. It has been a hot Oklahoma. So
Yeah, no, we've been pretty lucky. Okay, I'm trying to figure out on YouTube. It says I could post up 5 pictures with my post for you, but no, I'm just posting up this, figuring that out later.
that's all right. I'm kind of experimenting too. I don't know if for people that will the future people that will watch this. Um really putting these brushes to the test here and seeing what they can do. Because I like the fact that I found like a cool deal and they come in this big pack full of different sizes and stuff. But that would be even more embarrassing to see them falling apart while people are trying to use them.
And
Um,
did you already let everybody know what? Sorry, I sometimes I'm doing text, so I have to phase out. Did you let people
mhm.
know the which supplies you're using right now? Or?
Oh yes, yes, I
Okay,
went
okay,
over that.
of course you did.
Yes, of course I did. I try.
I had
Dun, dun,
a,
dun, dun, dun.
awesome interview, or Mark had an awesome interview. I just did the tech for it with Kate Hellenbrand,
Oh, nice.
and that was another. She's awesome. She's got so many stories. And,
Yeah, I'm learning that. I mean, I had gone to like the Explorers event in Dallas,
oh yeah, cool. How's
and
that?
it was pretty nice, and I
Awesome.
was really surprised. Like everyone was pretty rad about, masks, and it was a good time. Like
Awesome.
no one really. There was like I don't know. I remember the time before in like LA or something. Like everyone partied so much, but I mean, everyone just kind of like kept it nice,
Yeah,
and yeah,
it's
this
a
is
tough one.
perfect.
Yep.
Mm,
Like trying to
bleh.
do events where you're getting lots of people together is not quite. It's like
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's a funny kind of a goal to have right now. It's like, oh shit, we want to have a lot of people show up, but not too many people show up.
not too many people, but just enough. Just enough. Yeah, it is a very funny thing. I was thinking here for the gallery even. I've been really
Right?
quite depressed. I'll be honest. I'll be completely transparent. Really depressed about the fact that we can't open our doors
Yeah.
to the public because we're right downtown, and we don't get just like the public in here. We get like the crazy public.
Right.
But with COVID, like we have to have people, sane enough to put their masks on.
Sure.
Um, and we can't just have that kind of capacity for art shows. So we decided we're going to have a private event in next spring. Hopefully things have neutralized a little bit, hopefully. But yeah, just kind of do like a nice like little, I don't know, group art show, drag, like fashion thing, and
Awesome.
just yeah, I'm so excited, just took some powwowing with my coworkers and what can we do?
Right.
Yeah, we have this huge, beautiful space. What can we do?
Do you have like, I suppose you'd be using your camera type cameras, but depending on the event, we might be able to stream it out if you want.
Oh, that would be right. That would be really nice. Yeah, and I'm trying to get more savvy with cameras. Right now I'm using my phone for this, but I brought out my old 35 millimeter, or not
Shoot
my
that.
35 millimeter, sorry, my old digital version. I call it my digital version of my 35 millimeter, which is the Canon Rebel. It's nice. But I'm not very tech savvy with cameras. I'm more, yeah, let's go to the dark room. Let's do this.
Nice.
But
You
I
should
figured if
see
I,
the tech setup I have for
yeah.
Paradise.
Oh,
It's
yeah, that phone thing you're talking about. I'm like, Gabe, that's all you, buddy. I'm not even
oh, that the
touching
phone
that.
is that's the easy one. That's like just getting the new iPhone 5G and little some extra mics and stuff. For the stage, it's
Hmm.
a fully hybrid event, so that
Oh my gosh.
the Zoom audio, the people that are on the Zoom calls can be
Hmm.
blasting out through the PA. The people that are in the
Oh.
room are, the hosts and the panelists are talking through their microphones that get mixed into the
Hmm.
sound mixer and then blasted out both through the
Hmm.
PA and out to the Zoom call. And
Hmm.
they both have their separate mixes. But the fact is, I was blasting a Zoom call through the PA like brutally loud, and there was no echo. I was like,
Oh
took me two or
wow.
three times to get up there to get all the right stuff with all the right pieces, parts with all the right cables. But
Well, cool. I'll
I
learn
did.
something about
So
tech, hopefully. Maybe I'll walk away learning a little bit more of that space magic that you just talked about. So that'd be
well,
cool.
there is
Yeah.
also a podcaster's paradise. Who comes up with these fucking names? On
Hmm.
Tuesday night,
Uh-huh.
where all the podcasters that are there and the techie people will be doing well, yeah, basically a panel for primarily for ourselves, right, but also for everybody who's interested in podcasts and webcasting and tech. And
Oh, okay.
I'm very excited for that because there's a, needless to say, it's very podcast and show host heavy.
Right. Well, I
So
mean, it is the future. I hate to say, but I feel in my bones that it is.
yep, yep.
Um,
Well,
and
definitely set up. You might shoot some emails around ahead of time to set up some interviews if you want. Um,
oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, beforehand. Okay. Yeah, I'm like
I
Gabe.
imagine a lot of it'll happen.
I'm gonna be like a lost little lamb walking around. Like, what's next? What do I do next?
Yeah, it's kind of fun. I keep going back and forth between like, I got to make sure that everything is great and perfect, and then I'm like, wait, it is a BYOB. There's a schedule. There's a stage event at any given time, and there's one or two seminars, and
Right. Yeah,
there's
I
going to
think it should
be
be like
people
high
in all
school.
of
You just
them,
got to
and
follow the schedule. Yeah.
absolutely, and
Just make sure you show up on time. Get to your class. It'd be
and
like
then
first day of high school.
Tuesday night is like the biggest,
Okay.
it'll probably be the biggest paint night, but it'll be the third night in.
Oof, yeah.
Um, and but yeah, the first day is definitely going to be like, okay, running an event for the
Yeah.
first time in a long ass time.
We'll probably all be late. We'll probably all
No,
like, yeah,
no, I won't be
it'll
late.
be
I'll
kind
be
of cute.
there.
Maybe it'll be cute.
Um,
No, I won't
but
be late.
there will be a fair amount of rolling. It starts at 11, so it's not.
Oh yeah, it's not late. That's like super late in the day. I like wake up really early these days. I can't help it. I just like it's the children, my little fairy children wake me up at like
Hmm.
6 a.m. regardless. So I
Yep,
just wake up at like 5:30,
yep.
knowing that they're gonna start breathing in my mouth or something weird.
Nice. Get up on the cats,
Oh,
like the kitties.
yes, yeah, they're now teenagers and
Uh,
wow, they're expressive. I can't help but talk about them. They're really quite something. They're
I've got
crazy.
a ton of cats.
Yeah.
I think
Oh, good.
they bordered on 10 for a while. I don't know if they've passed 10 or under 10. They, but
Somewhere
it's
around 10.
a lot of cats.
A lot of cats. Yeah, I'm, they're pretty great. Now that I'm in the 30s, they're pretty great. They make sense.
Did you say
Um,
30 or dirty?
oh,
What did you say?
I'm in my 30s.
You're in
But
your
I
30s,
like
so
the,
you're digging
I'm
the
in my,
cats. Okay.
I'm in my dirties.
I thought you said you had 30 cats at first. I was like,
Oh my
30
God.
cats?
No,
That's
the
like
mitten
way
baby
beyond
boy.
cat crazy. That's 3 times cat crazy.
How expensive would that be? No, I
Oh,
would
that's cool. There's
definitely
more
have
people
to.
watching now. Hey, Eric, how are you? What's up from Pittsburgh? Beautiful painting.
Hello, hello. Thank you. Oh yeah. Oh no, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's getting there. We're putting down. I'm kind of doing a suggestive flora behind my foreground flora. So I'll bring in a little splash of red. I kind of want to make it a very muted painting and really focus on our main blue jay here. So this is really like I'm just kind of getting in all my little tight corners because all this is going to be really bright leaves. And so this shouldn't take long. Like your background should never take that long. If you start fiddling around at it like I am right now, then you need to get up and move it around. Um, and then, so I can see, I like to pre-plan as much as possible so you don't paint yourself in a corner or, paint the wrong thing, especially with if you have leaves or anything like kind of chaotic everywhere. You're not doing anything like pattern. You really want to make sure you leave open as much space as possible for it. I am using a reference right in front of me. It's like I print them out so I can see them clear, and I tape it basically right in front of my face until I'll get up my readers here. And then try your best to kind of get inside all those little grooves and have like a real hard crisp edge. So before where I wetted the paper all throughout, and so I have this nice blurry effect, right? I'm going to get everything nice and wet. But the entire time I did that, I went with the water and made my shapes of my leaves real loosely. And I'll probably crispen these up a little bit too as I go forward. I'm just letting it dry a little bit because I can crispen it up, but it still just kind of washes over. As that's drying, then I can come over here to my dry paper, my wet brush, and I'm just getting in like these little tiny spaces. And when it's dry like that, the water has nowhere to go but soak into it. So it looks a lot crispier and it doesn't run everywhere. And then if you've got little tiny hairs or anything like that, then you can just kind of wisp up from that wet source that you already put down. And I think this is about it before I can start funning around on my blue jay. This is a watercolor. Sometimes is very intimidating because it looks as though every movement is, your last. It has to be your last. It has to be perfect. But watercolor really, I mean, it is like happy little accidents. It's sometimes you'll get on your palette like a spare color or something, and you can kind of like explore with that. It's an explorative medium. I'll say that. Little accidents you can make into different things. You can, oh, I have a little splash over here, or um, this color bled a little bit into this color. So why don't I make that like a nice blurry, leaf in the background, or why don't I make that into another petal, or you can just keep blending. And I like it because of the sense of texture that you can get um, by just very quick like movements. So it's really good on the field, and that's why for the plein air class I will be doing watercolor because you can travel with it really, really well. Even when it's cold outside, nothing really affects it. All you need is water to activate it, and it's just quick. It dries fast, and you can do a lot of different, light sources. You can make it really dark. You can make it really washy. You can make it really clean. You can do architecture. You can do nature. It's a really diverse medium for just outside. So,
One thing that I've heard from some artists, not all artists, of course, but you know, and but to your point, you kind of plan this out a little bit so those happy accidents are kind of happening inside of a framework where you're not fucking things up too much, right? Whereas you know, sometimes when people just kind of you know, point is sometimes those happy accidents when they're happening inside of a structure are exactly the improvisation that's awesome, as opposed to if somebody doesn't have it thought out ahead of time and just kind of loses control, you know, you can kind of tell. But what else was there? Oh, so Eric says the Dirty Cats is going to be his new band name.
Oh, I love it. It's kind of like Smelly Cat. It's almost like Friends, like Phoebe.
Or 30 Dirty Cats, even better.
30 dirty cats.
30 dirty cats.
Yeah, 30 dirty cats. They all have toxic plasmosis is the first song of the album. Gabe, do you know about that? Do you know about?
No, I don't. Was this?
Oh my gosh. It's one of my favorites. Parasite, I guess. It's a parasite. Toxoplasmosis first arrives, it's like, oh, what is it? It somehow gets into a rat. And then the rat, like it does something to their brain that makes the rat very docile in front of the cat. Like it has no fear. And it will like almost like be like, hello cat, eat me, you know? And so then the cat eats the rat, and then the cat has toxoplasmosis, but then it poops in the litter box, and then the human could breathe it in. And that's why they say pregnant women shouldn't scoop litter boxes. And the actual symptoms to a human from toxoplasmosis is terrifying, because it's like it's every cat lady or person that we know. It's like it makes you docile to the cat. It makes you like the cat is most important. The cat rules everything. And sometimes, yes, like you become depressed, you become like all these things. So like that typical cat lady on the block, you know, who's got 50 cats, like more than likely they have toxoplasmosis. I mean, I've commonly, I'm like, maybe I do, because I love my animals. A little too much.
Did you hear Bill Maher? No, not Bill Maher. Was Dan Savage? He was talking.
Dan Savage is sick.
He's out of control. He was talking about bestiality. He's like, I'm not for bestiality or anything. And I'm not quoting him because I only got the gist of it. But he's like, look, yesterday I ate a fucking animal. So like, you know, come on. And it was just an amazing. I wish I had the actual.
Oh, is he?
Much better at sharing it. But again, it was about bestiality, and he was like, you know, I get it, it's wrong and everything. But yesterday, I literally ate an animal that was like factory farmed in a fucking cage for fucking the rest of its life, and chopped up into little pieces, and then I ate it. So like, not for nothing, but like, what's worse, getting fucked or getting eaten? And oh lordy.
Oh yeah. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I would rather have a parasite, I guess, that made me love my cat than most things.
Sorry, I didn't know how I got there, but I was talking about that.
Dark.
Oh, I listened to it on the drive out to my daughter's college yesterday.
So. Well, what is it? There's like a lot of weird animal things going on the planet right now, and I'm not going to say what they do because it is terrible, but just everyone look up at what seals are doing to penguins.
Oh jeez. Oh no.
Yeah, it's like a bad frat party. It's real bad.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I know. Me and my
Are there
friend
good frat
were
parties?
No, the bad ones. Me and my friend were thinking about doing like a whole like Japanese flash set.
Oh no.
Yeah. I'll just say that. If you know what I mean, you know, and I'll explain any more.
Yeah, my imagination is running wild, so I'm sure we should be steering towards different conversation.
Oh yeah, look it up later on your own. But wild facts, you know, when you just do nothing but like research what's going on in the world, you realize like, wow, there's a lot of weird shit going on.
Oh, yeah.
How long has this been going on, you know? But animals are like that, you know.
You know, for me, that's the funny part when there's the people that all get like, you know, irate and mad about, you know, like genders and whatnot, and like it's like either one or the other, and it's like, well, there are animals that like switch in the middle. I think there might even be some animals that's like switch back and forth. Like, you know. But there was a tattoo shop owner that I had chatted with over the last couple of weeks who had a tattooer, like an old tattooer who was, you know, spouting off some stupid shit somewhere online. And, you know, it was definitely the shop owner trying to figure out, like, wait a minute, like tattooers just, you know, people just can't have opinions and work in my shop without me being liable for it. And it's like, no, like you're a tattoo shop full of tattooers that are like very visible personalities inside of the community. And what was the story I used to tell? I was like, you know, being, you know, being a tattooer is a 24/7 job. And if it's 2 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning and you're getting naked in the middle of the street chanting crazy stuff, then the shop owner is going to know about it by 7 in the morning because someone's going to give them a call and be like, what the fuck is your tattooer doing?
What is your
taking
artist
their clothes
doing?
Off, screaming insanities at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, which, I mean, is that fair, Gabe? Do you think that's fair? That
well,
we are such
whether it's fair, I do, because the benefits of tattooing are so tremendous that.
Oh, well, yes.
You know, there you go. I mean, and whether it's fair or not, I don't know. Like, life ain't fair, right? It's, you know.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to hear your point of view on it because I've had that conversation with my own staff, you know, where I was like, they're, you know, newer to tattooing. I do have some people under me that are, you know, they're youngins. Sure. And so I just have to like paint the picture for them of how public we are, and what that means, and how to control yourself in certain situations for the betterment of their careers, for the betterment of their coworkers. You know, and I've had some apprentices just be like, that's not true. And I'm like, well, okay, then you're not on board then. That's terrifying. But no, it's, you have to protect one another as far as like keeping your shit together. And I think it's good because, I mean, we're under such stress sometimes, or having, you know, like our moods do affect our jobs, you know, so. Sure. If we're open about it and checking on each other, at least we can check each other for like, you know, we don't see ourselves crashing, but everyone else does.
Sure. No, I mean, like, you know, to the point though, it's like, and you know, often with apprentices, it's, or at least in this case, it's a lot about points of view, experience. You know, the thing is, like, again, tattooing can allow you to create art and travel the world, eating the best foods, you know, charging top dollar. You know,
meeting people that, other
not only
artists
other
that are
tattooers, but
influential.
other clients, you know, and if you get yourself into the $1,000-$2,000 a day, then all of a sudden you're dealing with, like, you know, highly effective clients and executive level personalities and, you know, other artists that are really making changes and movements. And, you know, the flip side of that is, you know, if you're going to tattoo on people and they're going to remember you for the rest of your life, you better not take it lightly. You know?
Nope,
otherwise, I mean, we all know, you know, it'll bite back, and it can bite back pretty hard. And
oh, it very much can. Yeah, we've all seen that in the last couple of years for sure.
Yeah, but it's anyway. So it was nice though. You know, I was, you know, just chatting with you know, the tattooers, like, well, people can't just have opinions. I'm like, well, they can have their opinions, and other people can have their opinions. You know, and if your opinion is, you know, some, you know, marginalized group that's been, you know, crapped on for fucking thousands of years is gonna come back and fucking make sure that you have a difficult life, then that's their opinion.
Like, we can have opinions, but even your opinions have consequences. So we have the freedom of speech, but with consequences, you know, like it comes to a whole, like if everyone really reads what our rights are, it's, we have freedom of speech to a point.
Right. And you can't yell fire in a, you know, crowded room, and
exactly.
You know, you can't actually lie. You can't, you know, interfere with people's contracts. You know, there's plenty of limits to your speech.
Exactly. I mean,
but you could express your opinion, and you know, but you could still find the places to express your opinion. You just can't do it necessarily anywhere you might possibly want.
Right. Yeah. One of my clients was telling me that there's like some, you know, hater in his neighborhood, and he was expressing himself in the ways of saying the F-bomb, you know, like fuck this, fuck this. And he was like, well, I can't find him because it's freedom of speech. And I'm like, well, there's children in the neighborhood, right? Like, there's no way that man can easily say what he needs to say without that kind of language, you know. Sure. And I'm like, I would call the cops on him as well.
Yeah, I went through it a couple of different times. It's, you know, the freedom of speech and where the limits are online, right? And I mean, through the Tattoo Now forum, there was years where we'd have, hundreds of thousands of people, on the forums, discussing, talking, saying all sorts of crazy stuff, right? And I did let it go for probably 3 or 4 years as complete Wild West, unmoderated. I made it a point not to take anything down.
Oh, wow.
But it does eventually devolve into, there, all it is a numbers game. And eventually there's, the troll personality types, and eventually there's enough
And they when
like
they
violent
clash.
threats or whatever. It's like I'm trying to figure out how to discuss it without attracting it, right? But like, the fact is, you deal with hundreds of thousands of people, and you let anybody say anything they want to, and all of a sudden they're shitting in your living room. And that's what I realized. I was like, wait a minute, like, I do want people to be able to express all of their opinions, but like, I don't want somebody to come into my living room and shit on. Like, I wouldn't allow them to do that. I wouldn't allow them to come into my living room and spout off hate speech or any of the other things that they
Right. If they're not
possibly
respecting house rules, then they
right.
leave.
And,
like, yes, this is a safe place, but you must respect the rules.
And there's a transition where you start off with a bunch of cool people that just attract cool people, but then eventually you become the target of, or like like the insects smell the honey or whatever, and or the sugar, and all of a sudden the trolls are like, "Ooh, here's a place where there's no where there's no control." And that is definitely the crazy argument about on the Facebooks. I really got to just ditch it completely. But it's like when people are talking about like the freedom of speech, with Facebook, it's like, look, you fucking signed the goddamn agreement. Like, Facebook is a private company. Now, on the other hand, if you want to have a discussion about the government taking over private companies because it got too big, we can't have a discussion. But it's not as simple as like free speech. It's and it's amazing because the same people that are like, my free speech is being hindered. If you're like, well, do you want the government to take over a private business and tell it what to do? They're like, fuck no, free market. It's just like,
I just never thought, I think remember like the old times, or like the old town square would have like a place that people could put notes, like they're hiring for something, or they're selling something, or looking for something. I just never thought that people would put up like diary pages as well. It's that I don't know. I haven't Facebooked in a really long time, because my family has just been tearing themselves apart on there, and I just refuse to watch it because no one's listening to me anyways. So, I'm like the youngest of like 1,000, so it doesn't matter.
Have you ever listened to oh, sorry.
Oh no, go for it.
Have you ever listened to Tristan Harris? He was interviewed on a Netflix documentary about social medias, or a couple of them maybe. He's like
is he on
digital...
the like social media documentary? Because that one's...
Which one?
It's like, I think it is called just social media.
Social media? Oh, I'm not sure. Maybe. Maybe like he's an outspoken digital ethicist, and very, very articulate about what the computer scientists are programming. And it's I just he was on Bill Maher recently, but he's been on a couple of, like I said, a couple of documentaries last maybe 6 or 7 years. He's been pretty into the digital rights, and well, like I said, there's definitely clearly horrible shit going on. So like, I'm not like against making sure that businesses that have immense influence over people are have regulations or put into check.
You can't deny the use of it. I mean, we tattooers, especially artists, have learned how to, I like to rightfully say, abuse social media for our own companies. And then, Instagram and Facebook caught on that we had this app, this thing that was supposed to be more social, and that we had now a platform to show our work, for free, so that's why they started charging. But before that, like, I feel like, oh, it's been wonderful as a free forum to just get your work out there. If you could be any kind of artist like specializing in one thing in a town that doesn't care, but the next town over might really care, and you would never know unless it was for, the internet bringing it to their, to bring it right into their faces.
Mm.
So, I see that I see the positivity of it, but I think like people need to be a little bit more like just a little bit chiller. Can we just chill?
Yeah, but the thing
Um,
is, like, that doesn't, chill doesn't encourage engagement, right? So I think one of the main things, right, is if it's free, then you're the product, right? So, like, for one, nothing's free. But if like I said, and with the social medias is, very much at work, like I said, if it's free, that means that you are the product. And
yeah, they're making money off of us, and they're just letting us entertain ourselves, basically. Um,
hopefully people do also dig pretty birds and landscapes and also great things. So we
exactly.
have to just keep producing what we want, what we want out there.
Yes, produce good things, and hopefully it'll counteract all the bad stuff. It's if you're kind of with me as well, you can join my cause. I will pin things on Pinterest that are my friends' tattoos, my tattoos, real pieces of work, and I'll pin them really weird names like girly tattoo, feminine tattoo, friendship tattoos, love tattoos. But because of the algorithms, like that's why Pinterest tattoos are the way they are. They just literally look up
Sure.
those, and so the same thing comes up all the time. And I mean, me and a bunch of people have been doing this for a while of just like pinning our own work and also our friends' works, these names. So hopefully in the mix, that's what will show up, and then people will be, they'll be able to see these varied different styles and large pieces and things that they didn't know that they could do. Because a lot of people are like, oh no, that's not very feminine. I don't want that. But I'm like, this is the most feminine thing I can think of, and it's a huge, thigh piece.
Sure, sure.
But they show me feminine, and it's like a little infinity symbol on their fans, and I'm like, no, 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 no. So
Wow.
it's all about, yeah, retraining. And I think there's just been a lot of negativity. And then people are feeding off of it because it's there. And they think eventually that's just how you communicate. That's how people talk. Oh, okay. Defense, defense, defense. Because that's what they see. And that feels good to them. And I don't know. It's just this whole cycle. But I've been off of it for quite some time. I do miss my family though. I wish I could just like go on there and be like, oh, hey, babies. But
Yeah.
yeah, usually it's just them fighting. So I just stay away. And then everything from my Instagram gets automatically posted to
Yeah,
Facebook
cool.
now.
So
Yeah,
exactly. What I was saying to
yeah.
somebody, I was going to be on a podcast tomorrow, and they're asking me like my social media stuff. I'm like, just give them my website. Fuck social media. Like, I'll take from social media, but I'm not contributing to it. And
Hmm.
like, I don't want to send people to social media to connect with me. I'll send them to websites and email lists, things that I own. I mean, the other thing about
Hmm.
the social media is you could have 100,000 followers, but they're only showing your shit to like 10,000 of them. And if you only
Oh,
have
yeah.
5,000 followers, they're showing shit to 500 of them.
Yeah,
And
like somehow, yeah. I mean, all of us that have followers, we know what's messed up because I mean, it's just the algorithm is real weird. Because you're like, how in the world in a week has only like, I don't know, 20 people seen this thing, you know? When you have so many, like if you have thousands of followers, it just doesn't make any sense.
do you update
Um,
your Google business listing?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, cool.
yeah. No, I like the Google actually. It gives people a really good opportunity to just write reviews, and I just got a bunch of more. Well, with the ending of the build out, I have a lot more. I said a bunch of more, a
Hmm.
lot more photos of the studio. So I'm going to be able to put those on there, and people honestly just Google right off the bat.
Yep.
And
Well,
then our website second, and social media third.
if usually the thing with Google, and I don't know, people tell me all the time, they're like, "Do you still need websites?" I'm like, "Motherfucker, like I'm getting 10 inquiries a day, and I don't even have a fucking shop anymore." Like Google works perfect, right? I mean, Google's there when
Hmm.
people are searching for, tattoo shop near me, or Star Wars tattoo, or bird, tattoo. And
Hmm.
Google wants to deliver really awesome bird tattoos or bird paintings to people if that's what they're searching for. And that's the main difference between a search engine and a social media. Is the search engine is designed to deliver a result to you that's awesome, and the social media is designed to deliver ads to you. And and the search engines, they deliver for years.
Oh yeah, for
Whereas social
years and
media,
years.
like after like 3 days or whatever, that stuff's buried. There are some things you can do to keep it fresh, but there's
Well,
still
it's buried because
tattoos
it's
out there.
international too. It's like buried because there's so many people. Like where Google will just at least give you your area. It's a lot more designed for your direct like area
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's real life stuff. Instagram is just like, oh yeah, if you want to have numbers, you can Instagram. But if you really want a good business, use Google.
absolutely.
Um,
Yeah.
it's actually going to target people in your area.
Yep.
I love that. Like you can have a lot of Instagram followers. Doesn't mean you'll be busy.
I depending on how it plays out and the way it works, next shop I'm involved with at a not at an intimate level, but like next shop around here in the area that I partner with, I very well might try to run it completely without social media. And I am near positive that within 3 years I could have a place fucking rocking with a Instagram that says "Go find us in the real world," or on our website.
Oh, just have like a real, like you open it up, it's like real flat formatted, and then it just says, yes, if you want to look at portfolios, like more so, please go to our website kind of thing.
Yeah, like I mean, mostly like register the the names, but again, completely just have it set up so that again, like I said, I just really want to
I kind
prove
of
to
like that idea,
people that
actually.
they really don't need Instagram to survive in the tattoo world, and everyone was always so the goal of Instagram is to make you feel like you need it. And again, I was just joking. Somebody was like, "What do you get out of what do you get out of social media?" And I'm like, "What do I get out of it? I get addicted to it. I check it 30 times before fucking noon, and like 2 or 3 times a year, I get a great international opportunity." But like for the most part, it's I just get in there and try not to fight people.
I've been trying to get better on it, because I'm honestly like, I know the people that I support are the ones that are making ads, at least tattooers. So at least I try to get up there for at least the people who, sponsor me. I'm like, how can I?
Right.
Endorse me. There we go.
I I have been completely ignoring it for the most part, but fuck, sorry, I got like two blasts of people communicating with me at the same time while I was mid thought. What was I saying?
Instagram sucks except
Instagram.
for
Sponsors. That you were
yes.
saying. For the I'm running all these events and I'm getting some sponsors and I'm like, oh wait a minute, they want to see themselves inside of the side of our Instagrams, right? But then the other thing is I started posting up the stories with the sponsors tag, and then of course they start sharing around the stories, and it's so I have been getting back into it just a little bit in the last week or two to kind of role model how I'd like it done, and then find somebody who's already addicted to it to actually not somebody who's addicted. I think Kyle's the Kelly who's going to take it over. But,
oh yeah, because I've been reposting, So I mean, that's the whole thing. We repost, and then it becomes a chain link, and then it gets around.
It's pretty sick. I was talking with Guy today, and it was like, hey, just from a completely outside point of view, that BYOB is getting a good amount of traction from people around. It's like, it's amazing. Like we emailed everybody the folder of images, and then we posted them up with all the tags, and we're doing it ahead of time, and it works. It's crazy.
Yeah, it really works. And that's basically like what I do for like the sponsors like that. They're just like, yeah, we just want you to at least show like what you're doing with it. And that's why I am going to try to get all tech savvy when I'm around you, because I have a hard time. Like if I could do this, how I'm doing right now, like filming it while I tattoo, that'd be amazing. But for some reason, it's I lose. I don't know. I either doesn't stay clear, or I am getting the back of my head for 45 minutes,
Uh,
or like all my angles are really bizarre. I'm getting like real close macro. I mean, really, I need like a third person or a second person, or a third person to just shoot me while I'm working. But
next year.
yeah.
I got a message from Damon Tech.
Oh hey, hello.
He said, hey, LOL, he once got a message, your tattoo guy is passed out at the bar. I think that was in reference to the
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's great. I mean, I've picked up many a tattooer from a bar, We used to have this game because of, what we were talking about before, if a tattooer got arrested the night before, we would of course go get him, but we would eat before we went to get him, and then we would usually go to like Buffalo Wild Wings or something. And then we would bring them one wing. And like we would usually would be like, oh, we're all no. I'm like, no, just cancel my appointment. We're all in this. So we'll all go to pick him up and then shove him in the back of the SUV.
Nice.
Yeah. And usually it's just being in the drunk tank, nothing too serious.
Yeah,
but
sure.
yeah.
Still. It was like 2 or 3 years ago, one of the tattoo gatherings actually. It was like a Friday, and I saw somebody, and they started apologizing right away, like, we're so sorry about our friend. I'm like, I don't know, what about your friend? Like, well, he kind of, we sent him home. Don't you worry, he's already on the way, back home.
Oh,
I'm like, why'd you send him home? And he's like, oh,
what
he got
happened?
drunk. He got drunk and he was puking. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to say don't send somebody home if you think that they should be sent home, but that is something that I don't want to get sent home for doing. If I happen to be in that position, please don't send me home.
Yeah, like poor guy. Yeah, he
But
wants
on the
to
other
lay
hand,
down.
again, my guess is that the guy was being belligerent and a jerk.
Okay. Yeah. Then yes,
But
and then. But if he's just a drunk,
yeah,
lay him down with a pillow. He'll be fine. Oh,
exactly.
yeah. No, actually, I've had several of my cousins will come with me to conventions, and they're always very like for the first hour, very, for the first time they did it, they were like, "Oh, what do I do? Is this okay?" And I'm like, "Really? You can do whatever you want." And I mean, we're all adults, so we're not going to get too crazy. But even if they get really drunk, they get very apologetic. I'm like, no, no, no. Look, everyone's getting drunk. It's fine.
It's really about how you act when you're drunk.
Yeah, just don't be silly. Yeah, just don't be a jerk. That's the rule, right? Just don't be a jerk. You can do really whatever. Just don't
Absolutely.
be
What
a
do they
jerk.
call it? Oh, somebody used to describe part of our recruiting process as beer boarding. They literally said that, like, did you go to off the map and get beer boarded?
Okay.
I don't know if that helped our shop make it longer or was one of the reasons why it doesn't exist anymore. But
Okay. I mean, what kind of beer are we talking about?
well, here's the thing, right?
That's
like,
important to me.
obviously, lots of people can, especially when you have something that people want, they can, the even really crazy people can keep it together for a while.
Oh yeah.
And
I'm
but
one
I
of
can't,
those. It's pretty bad.
sometimes, like, a couple drinks in, all of a sudden the racism comes out, or the sexism comes out, or the bullshit comes out, or
God.
and it's good to know, right?
Yeah, it's good to know that's what's deep within.
Because the worst thing is that I've had is, sometimes if the first time somebody's really getting wasted with a shop is, with like, oh, Bob Tyrell's here, okay, that's awesome, all of a sudden they, then you find out, 5 drinks in, they turn crazy. That's no good. So it's better to do it on the front end than on the.
Yeah, I've had a couple instances with some artists that I will not name because everyone knows who they are. And I've talked about it with some of my guy friends who witnessed this go down. They're like, I just had this perfect little childlike wonder in my eyes that when like a jerk, we'll just call them that, subject A jerk gets drunk, they just see me and that's it. They just were like, I'm gonna unleash this on you. You can take it. It's like it's almost a joke. Like if my guy friends really want to know if, before they hire someone, if they're an asshole, I'm like, just let them meet Renee. If they're a psychopath, they'll let her know.
Nice. I mean,
And I've had some, oh, it's terrible. I absolutely hate it. But I'm glad I can at least give my friends this service. Because it has been sometimes that's been shocking. You're like, oh wow, I can't believe he just freaked out on me. Wow, and then you learn,
I do, yeah.
like, oh yeah, you're like, oh my, like, man, some of these people have got some triggers that are real weird. Good to know. And it is, yeah.
I remember one guy in particular who, he's never listening, but like, what do you like? Why me? Why, right? So like, some people would actually come to engage with what we've got going on just to shoot themselves in the foot, right?
Oh,
like somebody's fear of success or whatever. Like, oh, I want to get close to success. I want to know that I can be successful, and now I'm going to throw it all away, right? Like that kind of personality type. Again, when you're dealing with thousands of personalities, and you're going to hit.
I self-sabotage a little bit. I get nervous, but I'm never a jerk. But yeah.
Right, but there's some people who like are career self-sabotagers, right? Like they're really good at it, and sometimes ending up, with whatever it is I'm working on is a great place to like, again to practice that, self-sabotage. I mean, I guess probably in some ways I might even be guilty of engaging in it myself, right? But like, so every once in a while we get a personality type. Oh, like I said, no, why me? I'm no Jeff Gogway. I'm no Bob Tyrell. Why me? I'm no Jeff Gogway. Finally, I was like, you know the difference between you and them? They're not fucking whining or complaining. They just fucking go to work and do their tattoos.
Just actually tattoo.
They showed up. They had an awesome time. They did the tattoos, and then they went home. You're like going wild and crazy, not tattooing.
I had an experience like that locally. One of my clients was telling me about an artist that they didn't decide to work with because they're, in quote, being a prima donna. And I was like, no way. I don't believe it. And they're like, yeah, it was really weird. And they're like, okay, whatever. So I ended up meeting them and like having some art times with them. And, I'm like, man, you know what? Yeah, just absolutely hated his life. Just prima donna. Like I never wanted to work with him ever again. And the whole time I was just like, hey, we're painting, just
right.
put that out there that this has like been real emotional, but we're painting. Yeah, we're all painting. I don't know what you're doing, but and yeah, I mean, and that's just no fun. It's cool to like shoot the shit with one and have a discussion, but if it's just like, I don't know. I've had lots of guys get in my face because they got too drunk, and just black out and forget where they are and all that. So, gross, right? Yeah, those are the stories that we'll tell when we're old. I actually have like several letters. Okay, so what do you do in that situation? Okay, so.
Yeah. Do you want to?
Yeah. So, okay. If you're a small tattooer that has the brightness of kindness in your eyes and a sociopath comes upon you, and they're really charming people, okay? This is how you know ahead of time that person's a sociopath. They're overly charming, overly. Everyone loves them usually, but then some people are like, I don't know. So pay attention to those people going, I don't know. First, second.
Sorry, just to put that in, like I can't even second that enough, obviously from a different perspective, but like it's how they get in to do the damage.
Yes, exactly. It's how they go about it. So they will black out, right? They'll get in your face. I got spat on once I'll tell you later. And you just have to get away from them. You just have to give it distance and try to just not interact. But socially, we have to work together, right? So, and you have to like, I have to see this person actually coming up. And so what I've done over the years is I write out exactly what happened in a note in my phone. I write out what happened, why they need to stay the fuck away from me, and we're cool. Just stay the fuck away from me. And
That's what
so
you.
when I see them and they approach me, and usually they don't remember because they're blacked out drunk, right? They approach you, they're like, oh, hey, and you're like, oh yeah, can I get your number real quick? I want to send you an article I found, and you should really read it. And so you just you distance yourself, and you send them you send them your note, and you tell them exactly what they did, and they need to stay away from you. It stays between the both of you. They know exactly what they did, how you feel about it, and they will respect your wishes if they're not stupid. Because if you could make that very public and
Yeah.
stay in their career, you could do all that, or you can just solve the situation right at its core. And if they continually harass you, then yes, of course,
And you have a
make it
record.
a then you have a record of it. Yeah, like, no, I told them at this time they needed to stay away
Yeah.
from me, and this is why. So yes. And these people
Uh,
are not scared to do this in front of other people as well, because they like to get off on it and make
that's part
themselves
of the
feel
power.
very, yeah, part of the power. They like to feel really big. So they did it in front of three of my friends. And yeah, luckily enough, my friends were
I mean,
like,
I guess
holy
it's.
moly.
I guess the good news about tattooing is that it enables you to get the power to, you know,
Oh, yeah,
to be
he's one of the
able to, hold
biggest.
your own, or to be able to like
Oh,
you can
yeah.
tattoo, right? So like regardless of whoever it is, like you can tattoo people for real good money, and then you're not beholden. Like the power resides with the tattooers.
Yeah, we're very much we enforce, yeah, we're the enforcers, and we're everything. Like, we're kind of our own, like, Jamestown. We're like it's like the Wild West. We have no HR, you
Yeah.
and unfortunately, these people do feel like they have that kind of power and that kind of sway. But whenever it gets to that point when they start, do you know who I am? Do you know? And I'll just say, no, I don't. um,
I mean, by the time you say something like that, like, I mean, it's amazing that somebody would say that. Like, you could only imagine
oh,
that,
it's so
like,
arrogant. It's
the
so
actual
arrogant.
act of saying that, like, reduces your political capital by like 75% just by saying it.
Oh, just by saying
Um,
it. Exactly. And I always try to keep in mind too that, like, well, yeah, we're tattooers, but there's really not that many of us in the grand scheme of importance of people. Um,
it's a
as
small
far
little
as
touchy world. I mean, it's
it's
getting
a
bigger, but
small, yeah, it's getting bigger for sure, but it's so, I mean, look at how many painters there are, like, and they aren't allowed to act that way, no one's allowed to act that way. It's not cool. It's just not cool. I love grumps, I love them. Give me a old grumpy, salty man, that's been in the war, seen some shit. I love that kind of person. That's my
Mhm.
favorite. But if you're a jerk, I'm just not, I'm just not interested at all. So that's what you do in that situation. If it ever happens to you, because it'll of course happen when you least expect it, and how to keep it cool and how to, like, just resolve the situation. And it's never a good thing to get hot-headed back, because then it just becomes an adventure.
Yeah, I should say, probably keep track of them. I listen to a fair amount of podcasts, and like the ones that are um, there's ones that'll dissect narcissists and opportunists.
Oh
This one
yeah.
guy, let's see, Jordan Harbinger show. Um, he'll interview like spies and CIA agents, or like there's one guy who was a pimp. There was a career pimp that he interviewed. Now the pimp was definitely very. I mean, obviously he was, in a horrible business. But he did also, he was like a divvied up and be as fair as you can be kind of of
Hmm.
a business guy, right? So he would enable people. Uh, but point is, you could learn a lot about how people manipulate each other
Hmm.
through those conversations, and
Oh yeah.
it is amazing. Like, even just moderating some of these, like as I was saying earlier on the Zoom calls, like, if you have a moderation problem, let's not be afraid to moderate. Like, every once in a while I'll find the personality and, they're edging their way in or whatever, and it's like, okay, time to move on. They'll be like, okay, it's time for you to move on. I'm like, no, I said it's time to move on. Oh yeah, that's right, we can move on now. I'm like, I know that you're trying to take the decision making away from me and keep the power, but it's not your fucking decision to make. We're moving on. I know I know that's okay. You can move on now. I'm like, I know we can move on now. That's like, you can move on now. I'm like, can you shut up? I want to move on.
If I'm doing that to you, I'm just being, the youngest of like.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm doing it fully on purpose.
I mean, I do that from time to time too. Well, that's the hard part, right? It's like these are all things that we all sometimes will just naturally do, and I'm not. No one's perfect.
We'll just naturally do to fuck with our friends, yeah. And but then there's like oh no, that's a power thing, yeah.
Right.
I actually okay. I'm going to talk about this, and this is like real weird because I'll just say I went to a seminar where it was a motivational speaker at the very end. And my old apprentice was with me, and he turned to me after he was done and go, well, there was just something weird about that. And I don't know what it was. And I was like, he was a sociopath. And he was like, oh, that makes sense. Because he was trying to be motivating, right? But he started with like, I do whatever I want because I'm selfish. This is how I do it. And we're like, oh, wow. But everyone was like, wow, that was so motivating. And I'm like, no, there's a difference.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. I'm not, I know what manipulation is. There's lots of, I don't know. I try to see it. I try to stay away from it. But there was a book that he even suggested everyone like follow, like it's his Bible or whatever. It's, well, The Art of Not Giving a Fuck is one of them, but also,
oh yeah.
Yeah, which is that one of like, I like that. But also, what was it? The Art of Seduction. And I just got really upset listening to that because I don't want to live that world.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, nope, I'm not gonna do that. That's really weird. And that's been done to me,
Right.
And it was awful. I felt like I was a used up wad of tissue. So that's not cool. I don't think so. Trying to raise the bar and the standard of how people treat one another. I really do believe if you just try and work hard, you can attain your goals that you want to but you have to be smart and decisive when crazy things happen, and try to not let your emotions take over.
Oh, I've failed that a couple times. I beat it a couple times too, but
yeah, and that's it. We're every mistake we make is a learning, a chance of learning. Happy mistakes, right?
Chance to learn. Yes.
Yes, and every single mistake is a chance to learn. Thank you. Yes, I was like, it kind of goes like that, right?
Well, it's good to be precise like that. Not everybody learns, right? It's like what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, unless it maims you and makes you weaker.
Oh yes, exactly. Well, I'm Slavic, so torture makes you stronger. Yeah, yes.
Pain builds character.
Pain builds character.
I don't need any more character.
I don't need any more character. I'm goofy enough. Yeah. And yeah, if you're that sociopath and you're listening and you see me and you see that childlike wonder in my eyes, just know that's because I've seen war and I've lived. So watch out. Don't come up on me. Yeah. I know how to put you in a choke.
I can't afford to go through the ringer again. So
yeah, I really can't, because I'll lose it. I'll lose it and I'll get really naked and drunk and be in the middle of the street and your head will be, pounded by my fists or something. I don't know. I think that'll be like the last straw, I think. Yeah. Like you don't want to mess with the people that seem really happy and quiet ever,
Yeah. Oh, there was an amazing story that Kate told about being kidnapped in Mexico.
Ooh,
and I guess the kind of the gist of it, I don't want to give away like the punchline to it because people should just go and listen to it. But yeah, it went something to the effect of like, I don't know who's going to die, but it's going to be one of us. Might be me, but one of us is going to die.
One of us.
And they were like, you know what? Maybe we'll bring you back to the hotel. How about that? But
oh, I love that.
It's sad that I mean, I guess it's a common thing, and it's hopefully correcting itself. But like the imbalance has got to get better somehow. It's got to get better because there's just too many fucking stupid, fucking violent dudes out there that fucking do stupid shit.
Yeah. I've been trying to really, I don't know. I have a lot of guy friends, this. I mean, after doing the convention circuit for so many years, I have so many guy friends. And there's only like two of them that have ever asked, like, what can I do to help? You know?
Mm.
And my answer to that always is tell your guy friends.
Right.
Because obviously these douchebags aren't listening to us, and we can scream all we want, we can plead all we want, we can make logic all we want, but if it's falling on deaf ears, obviously it's useless.
Sure.
And and we can't, they are not going to fear us, unless, I mean, it's very rare when they fear us, and it's always very shocking, but it's only one person at a time.
Right.
So they'll listen to their own kind. They'll listen to, their brother. They'll listen to their guy friend. They'll listen to their uncle. They'll listen to, they'll listen to one other. Like I'm a girl. I'll listen to girls.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not going to listen to a guy tell me,
People just kind of want to be accepted, right? So it's like, if somebody says something, I mean, it doesn't make a difference, whatever the fuck it is. Like if you say something and then the three dudes are like, oh, it's dumb, duh. Then I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't say that again. They think that's dumb,
Exactly. Call your brothers out is what I mean. Yeah. Like call them out. If they're doing something stupid that you wouldn't imagine happening to your mother or your sister, then you better speak up, because that's going to happen to someone's brother or mother or someone's sister. So I don't know. It's just how I think about it.
I've tried to do my best to, and again, it's not easy, like just as far as like lineups, and interviews are concerned, right? And I'm always trying to make a more conscientious effort to like just make it as 50-50 as I possibly can. It ends up being about 25 to 30%, male to female, guest ratio, I guess. Just because if all of a sudden it's like, I mean, as a guy who's like thinking about it, if I get too busy or if I get lazy about it for 3 weeks, and I just like, oh, I need a realist, boom, forgot when I needed this, boom, forgot when I needed that, boom, forgot when, all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, like I need to make sure that I have a somewhat balanced set of guests, and because
I wonder if like there is like maybe submissions of guests or something like that too. So where if someone is interested in even like participating in such a thing, like they can like, enter.
Yeah, we should have like a submission, or guys thought put that on my list a couple of times to make sure that for guest ideas. Actually, I guess it's more, we've been thinking more along the idea of shows, but to your point, we just have guest submissions. And well, and again, I do my best at I'm always asking for recommendations, and but like I said, I guess like I said, and just in the general scheme of things, it's something that requires, as I mean, it requires constant attention, to make sure that again, like I said, if there's
it's constant attention because they're not readily there yet, like for such a long time it was like very male dominated, so those names are there, they exist, they're like right in front of you. I'm sure if you had like a spreadsheet of like half and half, and you're like, oh, I can do a little from here, a little from here, a little from here.
I do. It is funny. That's okay. I mean, that's kind of what I'm saying, right? Like if I pay attention, then I go through my normal, I go through my routines. And I was thinking about this, actually. I was thinking about, this on another podcast that I'm going to be on. And I looked at the guest list, and it's like, okay, no, not for nothing, but we're, I don't know, 7-8 guests in, and it's all dudes.
Oh.
And it's like, shit. We need to, I mean, this isn't one that I'm booking, this is somebody else's. And, but it's like, I don't want to bring it up on air, but I definitely want to bring it up. But, it's
I mean, you can bring it up just because it'll be noticeable, like.
And then I get embarrassed when I see some of my old lineups and I see my old ads. I'm like, motherfucker, that was only 6 years ago, and but again, it's like, so and as far as like talking to people, I mean, I can't even tell you how many tattooers I've been like, you can't say stupid shit like that at the shop, and probably about maybe about 70% of them like wouldn't come back. But and this is where sometimes you get in. This is where you got to be careful, and I got to be careful, and I got fucked up. It's like then those 30% that do come back, right? Like, they might even behave in your in your shop, but that doesn't mean they behave everywhere. And but how do you like move somebody over? Like, I guess again, this is where it's like the conversation can't just be like, this is good, this is bad. It's got to be like, well, how do we tell somebody who's saying stupid shit that they can't do stupid shit without saying, like if you just say, hey, you can't say stupid shit, you're never welcome back here, then they're more like or just likely to.
Well, I had a friend from Florida come here, and Oklahoma is very.
If they really want.
Yeah, if they really want to like progress, if they don't, Gabe, honestly, then they don't. You can't control that, But if they want to like be
Right,
up
no,
with
I
the
don't. No.
times, and then I think they would be cool with like just some nice criticism, some good old hearty.
Like I said, for the, like maybe I guess what I would say is like 10% appreciate the criticism, and probably start to potentially see why they shouldn't be saying what I would consider to be stupid, or what we would probably consider to be stupid shit. 20% might just come back and alter their behaviors because they were reprimanded, and that's what some people would do. And then, like I said, 70% would be like, fuck this shit, why would I go back? I'll just go hang out other places and just
then hopefully enough people
that's fine with me. I don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah, exactly.
But
well, that number is so low though. God, 10%. Oh my gosh.
I think I don't know, maybe it's more. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think, like, if I talk to like 10 assholes, or not 10 assholes, if I talk to 10 people who said stupid things, like how many, and again, this is one of those weird things. It's like, I guess I don't want to be presumptuous, and I'm like trying to bring them over to a progressive liberal mentality. I guess there's a difference, right, between trying to bring them over to your side of the aisle politically and just not saying sexist shit.
Right. Well, that's it. It's not political. It's not anything. It's just not being a jerk. I just come straight back to that. It's like, whoa, bro, like, you realize what these girls have been through, right? Like, that's kind of how I approach it sometimes. Like, you do realize what's going on, right?
Yeah. And I guess you're right. That is the right question.
Yeah. Like, do you actually know? Yeah. No. Most men I've realized don't even know what lobotomy is. And that's one of Ramon's most favorite songs. Guys, if you don't know what a lobotomy is, go look up women lobotomy. Your grandmother's time was dealing with this.
Oh yeah, horrifying.
Yeah, horrifying. And I had fears as a child, like, I can't, if I don't act right, they'll lobotomize me.
Oh no, yeah.
Like absolute nightmares. Because my grandparents both were in the medical field, and my grandmother was very much, in her own right. She's very quiet, very mild mannered, because she was, the time. But she would tell us girls about like how it was, like how they had to act perfect all the time, or
otherwise they'd fucking get lobotomized.
Or they're fucking get lobotomized for being hysteric,
crazy.
Fucking crazy. I mean, that is absolute horror movie esque terrifying to me.
Yeah. And it's reality, not that long ago.
And it's reality. It's not that long ago. It wasn't that long ago where a husband could legally beat his wife in their home. And marriages weren't the same back then, at all. Like, you got married for support and stability. Like, you couldn't leave that situation because you couldn't even have your own bank account. Right. This is the women that raised us. So just even though that's not happening in our time, that thought is still very, very that's very real to us, that it can go back that way at any second. So if if everyone's wondering why we're all fighting in a tiffy, as I've been told, it's like because it could go back, and I really don't want to be lobotomized, nor do I want my niece to be lobotomized.
Oh, holy shit. I was talking to somebody that's they're moving out of California because of all the taxes and shit, and they moved to Texas for the freedom. Like, what? Wait, what? Oh, no, I'm really fucking confused. Like, I get not wanting to pay tax, but for you're going to pay. Well, I guess
okay.
A lot of people just don't know or care, right? That's the thing. It doesn't hit their radar.
No, it doesn't. And I mean, if you don't have to worry about that, then you don't have to worry about that, But some people do. That's like a real reality for them. And we should think that's just as important as our reality. Oh man, that's crazy. That's actually.
But, I mean, obviously the ability to really truly put yourself into another perspective, into because we are only filtering our information through our experiences and our senses.
Exactly.
Through our biases and through our histories. It is something that a lot of dudes don't just do. They can't. We can't have the experience, and unless unless enough people or women are able to really, just kind of continuously. I mean, I guess I don't know. It sucks because it's like, you have to like continuously tell all the dudes like not to be assholes because this is the shit that's been happening. But I guess I don't know any other way really, because like I guess I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. I think if like enough men educated themselves to be able to like spread the news to other men and then just keep educating and keep educating, eventually it would be fine. Because I mean, honestly, like you can look at any kind of society in history or currently Iceland, where women are just as important or if not leading the way. Things are real cool. Sure. We can multitask. It's like taking an asset and just telling it it's stupid, It's like,
obviously
that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, like the worry that I have about even Afghanistan, like think of their economy. I mean, besides all the brutality and crazy shit that's probably going to be going on and also going on still, their economy is going to take such a dip because they're taking out so many women out of the workforce.
Yeah,
that
doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, these women are professionals. They know what they're doing. Like, and they're just taking them out of the workforce. So that's like, imagine, if our industry right now, as it was, if you just took away all the women. Yeah, that would be a huge hit. Shops would close down. Ethics would, like a lot of differences that have, like in ethics that have changed the industry a lot, would, I don't know, be wiped away. I don't even know. You would feel the impact.
Sure.
And tattooing is just one industry. That's just probably a bad example, but I mean, there are reporters, there are nurses, there are doctors, they're everything. I'm like, God, I just can't even imagine. And I really hope that, America never experiences that, but I think all over the world, that shouldn't be happening. We've come so far, I don't know why we love going backwards, but we tend to do that, I guess, in history. We get too scared of what we know, and then we just go back to our nice, warm, safe.
Yeah, the warm, safe. I do feel like a lot of it is can be represented through like weather, or like weather is one of my metaphors that I fall to, and so like and ideas, right? Or, I mean, really, ideas are just like electrical currents that are bouncing from brain to brain. And so I guess, like I said, in my mind, like those electrical impulses of ideas that are going from brain to thousands of brains to brains, millions of some ideas are hitting millions of people. If you kind of like connected all of the and again, this is where like Alex Gray and Evan Guy, their visionary arts, in many ways for me kind of have a visual or create a visual representation of intangible energies, right? And so, like I said, so for me, a lot of it's weather, right? So like ideas catching on, there's sometimes there's hurricanes that are going around, and it's like a lot of ideas that are together, pushing in the same directions. And sometimes you'll have a little tornado burst, sometimes it's just rain, right? And I don't know. Anyways, I use it as a metaphor. That's my favorite metaphor to go to with this kind of stuff. And the goal really is to try to create an environment that's conducive to not like calm weather, but like it's fair weather. I don't know.
Well,
we're just animals. At the end, we're animals, right?
It has to be culture. Yeah, it's got to be nurtured. As this, like, I think of it as like a domino effect. But that it's like it's a pyramid scheme, right? Like one person tells three people, and three people tell three people, and then it's just keep going and going and going. So I can see that. And for some reason, though, some people just with like I think of the internet, right? So we have the internet, we have all these talks, we have all these debates, we have proof right there. But like literally just I have some conversations that I think are really like moments that are really normal. And sometimes people are just really oblivious. They're like, what? That happens? I have to remind my father every now and again, like, Dad, I can't go down that dark alley. I will get raped and kidnapped. And he's like, oh yeah, that's right. And I'm like, how do you forget this?
Again, if it's not part of our day to day,
it's
not part of our day to day.
Not part of the day to day. That's part of our day to day, girls. Yeah.
And that's the it's trying to figure out how to how to bridge that education gap, which would, I suppose, hopefully fix the actual problem.
Well, yeah. Well, I always think of, if they're not understanding, then they haven't been listening as well. Because I mean, it's out there. It's out there. It's present. You know. I don't know. I get ignored a lot, but I'm also boss lady, so I get it.
Yeah, I get so. I mean, I definitely understand. I definitely understand that, right? But so I'm just thinking of my my shit show that a couple of years ago that has nothing to do with this kind of thing. But like I was told. I mean, I was told what how not to screw it up. But it took me screwing it up to be like, oh shit, I really do need to have like good lawyers and good accountants and shit like that.
Yeah.
So sometimes just being told or reading stuff, and again, this is like the difference. I can intellectually know. I mean, I have a wife and a daughter who are pretty in tune with educating me about as things are progressing. My wife works out of college, and my daughter's of college age. But even still, it's like I can understand that. What is it, like a third of women are sexually assaulted in their lifetimes, or I don't know, before 50 or whenever it might be. But like it's like I can understand that, and I could see it in my head, and I'm a math guy. That means that in some ways I've kind of already pre-processed my daughter getting assaulted. But like it's not even close. Like it can't be the same feeling for me. It's not the same feeling for me, right? I mean, and again, I don't even understand it the same way.
Right. Like, how you can possibly process how you would react as a father, in that situation. But like to be able to process, like we have to get ready. We have to get ready for that idea too, as young girls, getting ready for the world. Like, it's hard for a mother to talk to her daughter about, how to watch out for themselves. And when my mom talked to me about it, it did terrify me for a very long time. Because Jean-Benet Ramsey also happened in my generation. And so we actually had a face to what our mothers were talking about, because she was, I mean, that was the most public, like she was made famous for that, and I think it's unfortunate and sick, but it did show a huge generation of my generation, how brutal it can be, like how real and in our faces it can be, because it was one of us that was taken down. And I mean, still today, I really do notice girls my age, if you're born around 85, do you wear a cardigan everywhere? Do you not wear a whole lot of makeup? Because like I've noticed so many girls that are like me. We're very simple. We like our records, we like our cats, we like our cardigans, because we want to cover up, because that's how we had to grow up as little girls. Like,
sure,
a man could be looking at me and thinking, oh, that's a cute kid, she looks like my granddaughter, but I'd be like, oh my God, that's a pervert, that's a predator who could hurt me, and run away. So, I mean, that fear is also, we're raised with that fear already. That's in our culture. It's in our head. That's a possibility that we have to process. So you guys, like we grew up with it, and now you're learning about it as a father. So I can see how that disconnection exists very easily. And I think that's part of the problem too. It's like you don't learn until, like the baby doesn't learn until it actually puts its hand on the oven. You can tell it not to so many times, but until it does it, like it won't know,
Sure. I mean, I guess I watched men take advantage of my mother, right? So like growing up, I mean, it was hard to tell, I mean, again, like growing up in it, it's hard to tell exactly what's happening, right?
A lot of it's psychological, a lot of it's
tons. What did my stepfather or my mother's boyfriend, I guess, used to give her pills whenever she did what he wanted her to or whatever. And they'd go out to the car, right? You'd have like we'll go out to the car and I'll give you the pills or whatever. And it's just amazing that, like, and again, part of it's like, I mean, I've gone out of my way to like try not to hang around with people that are of that ilk. Obviously, not obviously, a lot of people stay inside of that culture. But part of it for me is like, it's easy for me to tell people that when I say stupid shit, it doesn't happen very often, right? Like I'm hanging out in Northampton and East Hampton, like a progressive liberal, quaint New England towns, Lesbianville for 30 years.
Right. Well, I mean, oh
You
my God,
know,
I have a Portland proper moment with one of my best friends out there. Like Portland's very PC, right? Same thing.
oh yeah.
I don't think it matters where you're at right now. It was a story of my friend was telling me her boyfriend was going through some stuff, went to therapy, and then came back around and went apologized to all the women he knew, saying like, I've learned a lot in therapy, and I
Mm.
honestly I never thought of you as an equal human. And that is like a PC Portland proper hipster man, like,
Yeah, sure,
and
sure.
he just found out through therapy. Oh
And was he
wow.
able to? So I guess the question of the day is: were all those apologies accepted? So part of me, no, I mean, I would advise people to apologize in advance, right? I mean, I guess this is what maybe the therapist is doing, and maybe people shouldn't just go around apologize. My only concern would be is like, not my concern, but like, because people should be apologizing, but like if the act of apologizing then re-raises the trauma, which then brings it out into the public, which like I guess I'm interested if, not that it makes a difference again, right? Because people have to do the right thing regardless of the consequences, and that might be apologizing for the shitty thing that you did.
I think he
But
was more like theorizing. I think he was more, his mind was blown,
yeah,
and then yeah, I'm probably sure an apology came
well,
in with
I guess
that
I'm
as
wondering if
well.
there's apologies that trigger outrages. I guess is my only concern, right? Like if somebody
Hmm.
goes around and is like, if you apologize to six people and then one of them's like, oh, you fuck you asshole, and all they have to do
Well,
is
that's
hop
just one out
online,
of
and then
six.
yeah, and again, I guess yeah, exactly. I mean, and I guess the whole point is that it doesn't make a difference what the reactions are.
Right.
Apologizing for the shit that you've done before, is something that people should be doing, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think apologizing is really triggering, and I think it's more healing than anything. It might bring some stuff up, but ultimately it might even resolve the issue because it
Right.
might give a little bit of hope to that person to know, okay, at least there's one,
Yeah.
that gets it. And maybe that one can then tell three. And then maybe that three, like how can you truly learn unless you don't mess up? My
Yeah.
brother
Sure.
is really lucky to have had, sisters, watch his every stinking move, and every single time he messed up, we let him know. But it was in a loving way,
Sure.
like I love my brother endlessly. And if he would mess up, and be like rude or be a womanizer or be, whatever, I would just be like, what are you doing?
Yep. Yeah.
Like, would you like me to experience this? Because I'm like,
Right.
well, your bros are watching you. They're watching you and they look up to you and they're thinking it's totally okay that you're doing this. And so they'll do it. And
Yeah.
he's like,
I
oh,
mean,
wow, I never thought
like
of it
when
that
people
way.
are, I mean, when kids are repeating these patterns, I mean, I mean, clearly it's cultural, but is it just like TV, magazines,
Oh
news,
yeah, it's
fucking
in our
it's just
culture, it's
a little bit
everything.
everywhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah, everywhere. I mean, look at like I loved like the classic shows, like Sabrina or oh God, like I Love Lucy, and I
Yeah.
mean I Love Lucy was actually, she was pretty punk rock. She worked, she did what she wanted, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but like yeah, if you look at like the old classic shows like Mary or like Dick Van Dyke and stuff like that, it's like
Sure.
all the women are so particularly the same way, and there's
Oh
all these
man.
expectations
Yeah, like you were
that they
saying, the
should
lobotomy
do.
shit. Ugh. Oh,
Yeah.
to your lobotomy line of thread of conversations. Anybody that's in the Philadelphia area, if they head over to the Mutter Museum,
Oh yes.
Mutter,
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
where I was really reading the what is it? That's where I
Mhm.
was reading through the lobotomy exhibit, and it was doctors' observations of their subjects, and yeah, people could really learn. I mean, you might probably even just do a search online for it, but
Oh yeah, I think you're right. I think it is Mutter because the U has a oblong thing on it.
yeah,
I love that museum. That's like one of my favorites for sure.
yeah.
Oklahoma here has it's a Mutter Museum, and we have the Osteology Museum here in Oklahoma actually, and they're the two biggest bone collections in the U.S.
Oh, okay. There you
Yeah,
go.
I follow the bones. Yeah, I live where the bones are. Um,
Nice.
yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's like if you okay, I can always say this, like those women were slaves because of the fear, right? And they had no other option. We're
Right.
doing this even
Well,
now, like with culturally, with any kind of minorities, like we're looking at actually what we're option wise, what we're giving them, instead of blaming them for, not having
mm-hmm.
jobs or not, doing as well as the white man, as I say. But what are the options we've been giving them? That's why they're the way they are. And I mean, I've been trying to teach my younger men in my life that if they tell me one more time that it just seems like I'm trying to be an independent woman or I've got this whole independent thing down, then I'm like, yeah, I'm like, guys, that is so freaking like I can't explain how infuriating that is just because like, and I sarcastically thank my dad all the time for never keeping me as a slave or because
You got this independent thing down. Like what? Like everyone
what
should be
the
independent.
fuck?
It's
Yeah, like we just are because we are. Like I'm not trying to try. I'm just living my life. We have the same struggles, plus I'm getting harassed.
right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
there's nothing that I'm doing that is
What? Like now,
trying
is that just
to
repeated? Are they just repeating the same shit? Like, is
they're
that, I
just
mean,
repeating. They're just
yeah,
repeating. They're not actually thinking about what they're saying.
yeah. And then they
And I
get
do
pissed
have
off when
girlfriends.
somebody's like, or you're being sexist. I'm not sexist. I just say stupid things sometimes without thinking about
Yeah, I don't have to repeat shit that hateful people
it.
said before me. I don't even know. Fuck. Yeah, fuck. I mean, there's lots of things though, but I mean, I don't think, picnic, peanut gallery, things like that. Like, I'm never gonna really say them like as like a description of a thing. We're going to have a nice lunch outside, like you can just
Right, right.
change it around. And I mean, there is a lot of mentality of, women are gold diggers, women are this, women are that, but I mean, if I guess like I don't know, that's gotta be an old thing, right? Like we're just all living and I don't know. I have had
Mm,
ladies that have had rich fathers and their fathers did support them and they had a very hard time getting away from their father's support,
mhm.
but given the opportunity where their fathers weren't around, they are very capable of taking care of themselves. Um, so yeah, that there's a very old mentality that's still going around because I do hear that a lot. I mean, I am very independent
Sure.
because there's no other option to. It's either this or death, guys. This or death.
Well,
So I'm in yeah, and Oklahoma is very old fashioned. So I don't really know what the thought process is here on that, but uh
yeah.
yeah,
I love
yeah.
traveling. I love traveling around the world. I love traveling around the country. I definitely ended up in, like I said, in a little bubble here where people say please and thank you. And
Mm-hmm.
what is it? The parking lot's like, welcome to Northampton, where the women are as strong as the coffee, or some effect. And
Oh, I love that.
it's yeah, it's very well, it's very nice to be here.
Yeah,
But
no, that's
it
wonderful. I met an
gives me a little
incel
bit of a
here.
skewed perspective.
Yes, yes, yes. No, yeah, I accidentally went on a blind date with an incel.
Oh no
And
shit.
I hope that I'm using that term right. But by the end of like within like 45 minutes, I realized what was going on. I went, wow, you hate every.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's
I was a
fucking
little,
freaky.
it was really freaky because he looked just like you and I. Like he looked like just one of us. You know,
Now,
um,
why would it like some insult? So this is
why would
why
he
would they
date
go
an
out on
artsy
dates?
fartsy girl? I have no idea. I asked him the same thing, and I was like, "Do you want to date me, or do you want to try to like convert me? Like, what
Uh
is going on?" And I think he wanted to
huh.
convert me. I think he
How
was
do you
angry.
isn't it incel? Isn't that where like dudes aren't or celibate? Like how would they convert women to
Oh,
be
no,
incels?
no, I thought that they choose to be celibate because they hate women because we won't give in or something like that.
Yeah. So
He was
how would you turn?
angry. I don't know. He just
Yeah. Well, I
yelled,
guess.
yeah, the whole time. And he hated everyone. Okay, so I ended the night with, "Sir, you hate me and everyone I hire. I can't do this." I was like, I have a dreamer on board even. I have someone that does drag. Like, this is not going to work.
Yeah. Oh, crazy.
Yeah. I was
Oh, wait, you were interviewing a tattooer? You went
no,
on a
this was
date. You
just,
went on a date, you're saying?
yeah, he was a motorcycle builder, I
Uh-huh.
mean, on the surface seemed to be okay. Um, but the things that he said, I mean, I don't even think I can repeat some of the things that I was just jaw dropped the
Yeah.
entire, and just, did that uncomfortable laughter thing. And then like, okay, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, time
I got,
to. It's
yeah,
been
like
nice. You can delete me
I
from your phone.
texted,
Feel free to ghost me.
yeah, I know. I texted my brother, like, what do I do? He's like, go, leave. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
okay, thank you. I knew the
Oy.
bartender, so I slipped him a 20. I'm like, I'll tell you later. But I mean, it's a reality. It's there. And I
Right.
mean, that was like a monster to me. That was like oh my God, what has just happened? I have only heard of these people.
Yeah, right. Yeah, me too. Like again,
Yeah,
like
but I
so part
mean,
of me is like when people describe some of these philosophies, or I mean, I guess, I mean, there's a lot of philosophies that I am really surprised that people take so seriously or believe, but that is definitely one of
yeah,
them.
that's definitely one of them, and
I mean, I guess the
it's
biggest
just
thing is, right, hurt people. Everyone got fucked up as a kid, so they're just repeating different versions of how they got fucked up.
oh, right. Like I know I'm a weirdo to some people, you got to catch me on a good day, to see what my triggers are, I mean, usually I've had lots and lots of therapy. I'll be honest, I think that's really the key. I had a 20-year-old divorce, or not 20 years, but I was 20 when I got my divorce, and I just like got myself in therapy, and I was like, let's do this.
Sure.
And so I feel like a lot of people, I've realized that a lot of my friends don't do that. A lot of my friends just kind of like, oh, no, I'm fine, I'm fine. But then they're like meeting all these different elements of population and societal, like, I don't know what to call them. There's just so many differences. There's so many variables of humans on this planet. And
Mhm.
yeah, or I'm surprised, I found out like one day, like we don't all think about the same things. What?
Sure.
We all have our experiences to go off of, and that's it. So it's like, it really is like, I don't know, find your people, keep them close, and be selective when you find new people, because they're scary. Maybe it could
Mhm.
be,
Oh,
maybe just maybe. um and that's, I mean, same thing with hiring tattooers. I always explain why there is such a mess, because I have several clients that overhear things and they can't wait to ask me about, the strange issues we have still residing in multiple industries, but ours as well. And
sure.
I always try to, I don't know, try to find at least an answer that is neutral, to where it's not like necessarily my point of view, just like what I've seen, what I've heard. Like I've talked to Shanghai Kate multiple times about what she's experienced, and oh my God.
Hmm. Yeah.
And it's, you have to just really get to know like who's in your shop. And that's really hard to do, especially if like they're kind of inward people, if they don't really want to hang out, or they don't really want to, express themselves. If there's sometimes, you'll have that perfect artist that just likes to come in and work and then leave, but you never know. He might be like, I don't know, selling child pornography or something. You're like, it's hard to know like who you're dealing with. And the only thing we have to go off of is people's actual like testimonies, like word of mouth, like, oh, no, they're a good person. I have I mean, and there used to be tattoos, people used to get tattooed with symbols to show like good faith, like I have my little traveler's tattoo too. My friend Aaron
Hmm.
did, but it's like
Uh-huh.
you shake their hand and they know I won't steal
Yeah,
their
yeah.
kids or rob
Sure.
them,
Right. Yeah, it's cool.
and you get that through your friends that are notable. But now, like anyone with a tattoo machine, anyone with a needle could just do that, So it's getting harder and harder for sure. But I don't know. I give everyone the benefit of the doubt, and everyone starts at zero and works around that, you know.
Sure.
Just yeah. But oh, I don't know, Gabe. I wish I had all the
Okay.
answers. But
We have more. I mean, usually the answers lead to more questions if we get them. Um, This is looking pretty cool though. I'm gonna check out the YouTube real quick.
Oh yeah.
And then need to get on my walk. But okay, so it's 8 o'clock.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, look at that.
I know I'm behind. Yeah, look at me. I got chatty cat.
That looks great.
We're getting there. We're getting with the hardcore black. So it's like tattooing is backwards. When you do the whites, you're towards the end. And watercolor, if you're getting on the blacks, then yeah, you're getting towards the end there.
Although I definitely know a couple tattoo. Well, maybe not the black, but I know a couple tattooers that'll put like the lines in last, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I'll do that with my big stuff. I'll wait till it heals and then go back and really bulk things up.
Blue jay. Blue jay? Is that a blue jay? Or? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been, oh man, this whole summer has been quite incredible. I have multiple bird feeders outside of my upstairs, so I can just look out the window and I have all these trees and birds just coming right up to my window. And the blue jays and the cardinals are not fearful of me or the kitties. They just come right up to the window and like look in and see what they can see. Man, I've spent so much money on bird seed, it's not even funny.
Awesome.
But I gotta keep feeding them. They count on me now.
I love birds are my one of my favorites. I got a bird on either side of my neck. Actually, I got birds on 3 sides of my neck.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I have lots of things in flight on me as well. I used to tattoo birds a lot more, and lately it's just been a lot of space stuff. But
cool.
I do miss doing my birds. Hint, hint. Anyone that's future listening to this. Someone the other day, they looked at my Instagram, real quick, and this is the thing about Instagram also that's kind of hurtful to what you tattoo and who you attract as your client. Like I try to post, pieces that are done nowadays. I used to post just like, in the middle, still in the works. So, we have a couple sessions left. Right, like progress shots and have a cute little story going about it. But I had a client that came in and they're like, they wanted a space tattoo, and I was like, oh yeah. But they're like, oh, do you do pet portraits? And they after they told me how much they followed me on my Instagram, I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, really? I don't see any on your Instagram or your I'm like, what? So I looked, and it had been like maybe like a couple weeks that I didn't post one because none of them were done. But I was like, no, keep going, keep scrolling. They're in there.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And he was just like, yeah, keep going. And so he was like, oh, there they are, but I'm like, he's like, oh yeah, I had no idea you did them. I'm like, that is what? 15 years of pet portraits. Yes, I do pet.
Well, that's where like on the websites you get to stack well, you can also put some highlights, right? So do you have a highlight reel of pets?
Yeah. I have highlights. I have all that. I mean, a lot of people do not look at the highlights.
They'll just fucking zoom around that shit.
I've spent a lot of time on those highlights.
Me too. Maybe I don't know. I guess maybe I'm doing it for naught, but.
Yeah, maybe we're just messing up. Maybe maybe the kids just don't care anymore. They're onto the TikToks. TikTok is that's a whole other beast. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
TikTok is oof. I find that, yes, I am liking a lot more of the like stationary apps. Like I really do like, I don't know. It's just too much random. Everyone tells me that they just like keep scrolling and scrolling on TikTok, and I can't bring myself to do it. Like as soon as it happens, I'll get like maybe like a minute in of scrolling and just having all these random flashes of media and content. And then I'm over it. I'm like, oh, this is too much.
Yeah, it is a bit crazy, and it's really crazy. Like all the brains that are coming online and just easing right into that. Like that's their fucking pace.
Oh yeah. My physical therapist this morning asked me if he could do a side hustle, what would he do? And I was like, you should just like, he's so motivated. Like he's the most motivating person in my life right now. Is my physical therapist. and he's like just very like active and he's very positive. And I was like, you should have a YouTube channel. It was the first thing that came in my mouth because he's just so perfect for it. And he's just like, no, 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 I don't think I could do that. But I'm like, you would make so much. Yeah, you would influence so many people if you did that. Like,
Nice.
because he is so positive and he's so, I mean, I think there are people that are just like, that would fall right into it and, you know, get involved. Plus all the editing, like the video editing and all that. Gabe, I have so much content and I have to edit it and I don't,
Oh man,
I gotta,
you're
yeah.
talking to the wrong. Well, maybe you're talking to the right person for some sympathy, but like I'm like a
I don't want
master at
sympathy.
a.
Yeah,
I'm
you're a
like a
mess.
master at amassing content that needs to get edited. Like I've got. Oh, I don't even. I mean, I mean, I'm not even going to count the four shows, the four long form shows a week, kind of like this, right? Like you know, if we edited this into 25% out when I'm saying something stupid, and then all of a sudden it'd be that much tighter, right? So I could probably count like 4 to 8 hours a week of content that I'm recording, but that deserves editing, that's not getting edited.
Hmm.
And I mean, I've got hard drives of hard drives of hard drives. I probably have, and you know what? At some point, if I either catch up or when I die, there's like a treasure trove of tattoo footage.
Ooh, like
Um,
Fjord, like Freud. Yeah, we can just like open up and see like what you've been keeping all these years
there's
and
I mean, it'll be a lot of really cool stuff that needs editing.
yeah.
Like, wow, look, here's a Guy Aegis and Jeff Gogwe collaboration.
Oh
That
my
should need
gosh.
some editing.
It just needs a little
Uh,
editing. Yeah, I mean everyone's kids does it. Just tell your daughter like what's up and it'll be her responsibility
at some
to
point, well, no, she's
honor
already off.
you.
She's got her own thing at this point. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, no, when the shop went away, she was done with Tattoo World, I think. Although she did
Oh
get a
yeah.
fucking sick ass tattoo from Thea Duskin just did a
Oh,
really awesome moth on her back.
oh, that's
And,
awesome.
but
I'm
yeah,
excited to
no,
meet her.
she went out right away and started getting fucking stick and poke tattoos.
That's awesome.
Just like, okay, whatever. Our shop,
Whatever.
I get it, but
I've been thinking about offering that here in Oklahoma because people are asking about it all the time. And I'm like, I can't do it. I mean, I
you could be
just,
like, I do 3 stick and pokes a week for $500 a piece.
yeah, exactly. Like, you really, really want me? All right. Sit
Hey, do
down.
you want me to do this like the modern way, or for three
Yeah,
hundred
like
dollars more, I could
I
do it
can
stick and
do
poke.
this, right? I can do this in like 2 minutes or 2 hours. What would you
Uh,
like? I mean, I've done a couple, like, I feel like I don't know. Maybe I'm just like weird, but I feel like stick and poke, if you're gonna do it as a tattooer, like do it on another tattooer, Like make it something because this was stick and poke and that was an experience, that was like, oh
but
wow. And I've had Tabori, I've had Tomoko,
uh-huh,
but that was like gangster,
uh-huh,
like
sure.
my my very American friends stick poking me in a hotel room,
Uh-huh.
with all my friends
Bring your thumb
around.
there, huh? That stayed in pretty well, huh?
Yeah. And oh yeah, I mean you can see the raised, it was raised right
Yeah.
here forever. I mean, it's not going anywhere,
Uh-huh.
But it was, I don't know, it seems like we just, we use our machines on our clients and then we do weird shit on each other. I don't know,
Uh-huh.
very, that's just the kind of probably my group of tattooers I was brought up around. Is like we would try to do crazy things just to, I don't know, out each other. Like
Sure.
out, yeah. I think my friend, I don't know. I think he like purposely was like, okay, I'm gonna tattoo you on fire. And so he had like, yeah. And this was of course all after hours, of course. Um, but yeah, we were just like that. We were just stupid. I have a party leg. I think a lot of us have little party legs or like a fun tattoo legs or
Yeah.
arms or whatever. And that's when we would do it. We would always do it after hours, or at a convention, you know, it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
hey, we all experience this thing. Let's get this matching tattoo together.
I
And
mean,
here it is.
I'm a convention promoter, so through the course of
Hmm.
the years,
Yeah, what's
um,
crazy things that you've seen?
well, I make it a point to, not see them
No.
because I'm the convention promoter. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna stay away
Uh,
from that condo tonight. You know,
oh
um,
yeah,
everyone's got the right to play, so everyone can play. Um, but yeah, it's whatever, man. Like the world's a weird, artsy, crazy place.
it
But then,
is.
again, part of it is like sometimes it's at those parties where stupid shit happens, right? And you're like, well,
Well, yes, I think it takes a certain brand of people, right? Like you can have a good group that can party and have fun. And this is, I've experienced this. Like I was in a group of people that was huge, right? From my early convention years. And we all looked out for each other, right? And then there was like one guy, no one wanted to mess with him. No one wanted to correct him. He was kind of scary, He was aggressive. Even the boss was like, the boss was my age, So I get that. But he didn't even want to deal with them. But that one guy eventually corroded the entire studio, our entire
mhm.
group, and attacked many girls, and was I mean openly I got in many verbal arguments with him in the studio because he would openly be calling girls, all kinds of names, openly screaming, and like that's just that one guy out of the entire group that was just harping on good people. And I think that's what it is. Like if you can just point out that one guy and get rid of him,
Yeah, I mean,
then you can party and have fun and be innocent and nice. And yeah, like,
uh, it's
yeah, it takes a
I've
lot of courage.
hired so many people that my wife told me
Oh,
not to
I
hire.
know.
So when shit was going sour, I was just like, oh wait, she told me not to hire that person. Oh, she told me not to hire that person.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. Sometimes people could tell you things and you could even understand exactly what the words that are coming out of their mouth, but
Hmm.
until you actually experience it, it was,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Well, I think they're on my
Well,
side for now, right? Uh,
yeah, I mean, yeah, like I've experienced hiring is like an odd form of dating because you can see like their work, you can see what they do, they present themselves to you, and it takes months and months and months to
mhm.
see like if it really works and things like that. And as an older lady, older gal, I've learned the secret art if another girl kind of gives you a wink or like a look, you got to listen
Mm,
to it,
sure.
so if other people are kind of like, they don't necessarily have to be straightforward, but if they're giving you something, at least put your guard up a little bit, be ready for it.
Mhm.
Is my greatest advice that I could possibly give ever. Because it took me a really long time to understand. I didn't have a lot of girlfriends, so I never got that nice little wink. I would get it from
Right.
guys, and they'd be
Uh-huh.
like, "Renee, don't date him. Why? Just don't do it." Like,
Uh-huh.
okay, sure, no problem. You know,
It
um,
is crazy how like just the one or two personalities can really set it off, especially if there's a manager or an owner that wants to avoid confrontation.
yeah, you can't avoid
So,
confrontation as an owner. You just
uh,
cannot do it. You can't.
nope,
I did it.
that's what you sign up
You
for.
can't. It's what you signed up for. I mean, it could be, worst case scenario, someone's like hurt within your studio, attacked, sexualized, whatever, minimized, verbally abused, all these things, right? But, and then, I mean, think about the Google review. Think about like what it could do to your business, you know? Like, even if there's something going on in between artists, you can pick up on those vibes. Those vibes are real,
Oh
you
yeah.
know oh yeah, those vibes are real and they will sour your entire shop. Like you don't have to get involved in your artist's business, but you have to pay attention to what's going on, and I'm so glad that I decided to wait until I was really had some experience in the industry before opening my own studio, because now I can just like, oh yeah, that's obvious, you know
Yeah. Yep.
um some people are like, how are you picking up on this stuff? And I'm like, I don't know. It's obvious now.
Learn it on
Um,
someone else's watch. That's the best
yeah,
way.
yeah, it's the best way. It is to learn from your predecessor's mistakes, learn from your mentor's mistakes. If they're telling you a story, listen to them because they're telling you. So probably you don't repeat it, you know. And I mean, yeah. And I've had all kinds of mentors, you know, that have been tattooing for. I think I was trying to like calculate my collective years of wisdom, and it was like impossible because I have so many people that have been like 20 plus years in that have really like held my hand through a lot of things. And I'm really grateful.
Yeah, me too. Likewise. I mean, I don't tattoo, so
yeah.
like everything I do is, you know, I've learned from a tattooer that I, you know, do my best to, you know, carry on.
Have you ever tried to tattoo, Gabe?
No,
I mean, I'm sure you
never
have.
tried.
No, never.
No.
Oh,
I, you know, I almost I had a realist come through once from it was from a different country, a pretty damn good realist too. And he was like, I want you to tattoo me. And I'm like, I don't tattoo. He's like, no, just like a bro tat or whatever. I'm like, you know,
I
I
want
was
you
like,
to tattoo a bro tat on me.
I was like, you know, maybe I will, fuck it. And I thought about it a bit. But like, yeah, I didn't. And I was really actually happy in this case because I realized that this tattooer was like I guess it was maybe a psychic vamp, more of a mimic, maybe. I don't know, mimic doppelganger. You know, like something like you know, somebody who was, again, they were after my process, not, excuse me, they were after my effect. So they were like trying to reconstruct my process. I don't, again, realists are very, everybody's different, right? And there's no like one realist, but like realists are often people who can understand formulas and then recreate the formulas without necessarily understanding. Like I create the, you know, creating a formula is way different than being able to repeat a formula. Anyways, point being is I realized that they didn't necessarily have the purest of intentions, and I would have been really sad if like the one of my first tattoo that I did was kind of on a jerk.
Oh my God, yeah.
So you know, so I didn't then. I never really had no.
You have to tell me what he did later, but
I didn't do anything bad. I mean, like, I mean, it wasn't. It wasn't. There was no over. There was nothing dramatic about it. It was just like, you know, he was just,
well, if there's ever a machine around, I'll be like, Gabe, come on, let's do this.
Yeah, you know, I really, I can't draw at all. You know,
you don't need to. I'll just make a little skull.
Clearly, I know there's a lot of people.
Yes. Yeah, no, if you're not a tattooer, I have all these, I didn't have skulls on me for a really long time. And so one of my bosses that was a piercer was like, let me do the skull on you.
So you got like the stencils.
Like, yeah. And I mean, I can literally sit there and you can chop off my leg and I'll just like talk you through it. That would be really fun. But yeah, I mean, you don't have, I mean, yeah, if you're just tracing it, then not a big deal.
And I also like, you know, the other thing with any of it is like, well, two things. One is I, you know, at some point, if I get comfortable enough, it would be silly to not learn how to paint and draw because I got, you know, some of the best teachers in the world I work with, you know, every day.
Right. That's what I mean. I mean, you do so much with us.
But I also know like I'd have to practice, right? Like how long, like, I mean, how long would I have to practice to get good? You know, a long time.
Thousands of years.
Yes, if I'm doing that, you know, then I'm not doing other things that, you know, arguably I'm better. I mean, I am better at because I can't fucking tattoo to save my life. So I'm definitely better at the other things that I do. So I always end up.
Yeah, I guess it'll overfill your cups, you know.
My life would be so much easier if I could just learn how to tattoo realistic birds on people, you know. And again, it's like formulaic and, you know, I mean, there's a, you know, obviously the realists with imagination have, you know, a little bit, their stuff is a little bit more real and has emotion, but you know, like I said, it's then I'd have to fuck up people for a while. And
I mean, I try to think of how many people I probably fucked up as an apprentice, and I you know, that's why you take baby steps. You know, there was lots of apprentices that I had that were always like, I want to be a portrait artist, and you're like, ha, cool. You're not today.
Right.
Yeah, like you just start small, and so you master the small things, and then you get a little bit bigger, and then you master, you know, medium-sized stuff, and you just baby step it as much as you possibly can. And that's, I mean, I always like, making my people in my life tattoo me because it's uncomfortable, and I like making people slightly uncomfortable for my fun. Like I've had my cousin tattoo me. I've had,
Nice.
I was like, Alyssa, come over here. We're doing stuff. She's like, okay. She's a nurse practitioner for oncology. She was like, oh, and she's just always watched me and been fascinated, in my career, and just, been my little support. So I just wanted her to have that experience of feeling it because she's imagined it so much.
Sure.
And she was like mind blown. She was like, oh wow, that's so I've had my grandpa tattoo. I've had
That's awesome.
oh yeah, like anyone that's like loves it, and just they don't want to maybe practice it. They don't want to like actually do it, for a living. But if they just want to see what it feels like, yeah, it's like a little, here you go. I don't know. I have a I submit my body to whoever is doing what. I can take it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fun. I do appreciate the fun tattoos like that. My daughter did tattoo my wife. She tattooed Kim
Oh, that's fun. Oh,
a couple of
good.
years ago, but I couldn't figure out where it would fit in with my collection. I didn't do it. Probably should have. I should have. But
Oh well, there's still time.
there's possible still time. Yeah.
There's possible time. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, tattooing is I mean, shoot. Yeah, I can't imagine my life without, tattooing birds on people, to be honest. Like, oh God, there should be like a fun game of like, what would you be if you weren't tattooing?
Yeah.
I'd probably be
Oh,
doing
that's a good
data
one. That should
input.
be data input. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd probably be like a librarian or, yeah.
That's my
Or I would help it.
my first job was at a library when I was
Oh, very
14.
nice. A library. Very nice.
It's a library page.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. I mean, biology would be amazing, but those people do not make money at all. Poor.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Academia is weird. Like, I just went to go visit my daughter in college,
Mm-hmm.
and well, for one, we went to the observatory,
Oh,
and I
very
was
nice.
like, oh, I could definitely stare at fucking Jupiter 8 hours a day to see if anything changes. Thinking
Mm-hmm.
about fucking the fact I'm looking at Jupiter. Um, but academia is actually a relatively, you know, stable-ish tract of life. I mean, I'm just thinking.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah. Yeah, if you go
compared to
into
like
that
trying to
route,
sling websites for tattooers, it's like, oh my god, that's a fucking crazy job. That's
well,
amazing.
you have to be just as creative in academia as you do in art. So I try to explain, okay, so like this is my dad, I was trying to explain to them even what we were doing tonight and why and, for what purpose and all those things. And I was trying to explain to him, and I explained to a lot of my apprentices too, like you have to be very creative to make it interesting and make a living and make works happen. Like academia, people will like think about a project. And I talk to a lot of professors too, and they always talk about like if I want to learn something, I usually teach it because I have to
Mhm.
learn it so much that I can teach it. So I also share that idea of like, I mean, sometimes I'll just accidentally learn something and I'm like, oh wow, but you have to be really creative, just like artists do. Like, like, okay, like I can draw. Step one. Step two, what are you going to do with that drawing to make money? You know,
Mhm.
and even with the like this event and the Paradise of Gathering event and my draw nights here at the studio, my paint nights here at the studio. My friend is trying to get me involved with his school doing actually a plein air and biology class. So
Yeah.
I'll take his students out and teach them about how to actually capture the environment in a sense of, like a field biology class,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
also
Sure.
combining art with it. So, at there you're just like smashing the academia and the arts together. But to show like why that's important is, I mean, it's just learning. It's part of it, So even with tattooing, I'm always trying to think of like different theories and different reasons why I'm doing things. And hopefully I have some kind of academic point of view with what I'm doing. But sometimes I just make cool stuff.
Sure. Let's
Yeah.
see. I got some comments here. Tattooing by Michelle asks, do you wear a mask during tattooing every time?
Yes, I do. And I'm vaccinated.
Right.
I'm fully vaccinated. I wear all masks are required within the studio as soon as you're in, and also within our booths. And a lot of, I've had some pushback from some clients, not a lot. One time a guy came up to my door and said, "Ma'am, I don't play by them rules," and then stared at me. And I go, "Okay." And then he said it again. And I said, "Okay, well, sorry, not sorry. Have a good day."
Yeah.
And
That's what
it's
makes America
honestly,
great.
that's what makes it totally great. Um, so yes, I'll just leave it at that. Yes.
Let's see. Matthew Jackson replied, Michelle, I do. The micro splatter grossed me out. There's a fair amount of tattoos. And Robert Hernandez was always wearing masks before too.
Yeah, I wore a mask beforehand anyways, because I also am tattooing on the inside of thighs and near all kinds of genitalia sometimes. And I also, if I'm ever I have really bad allergies, and if I'm like breathing mouth open into my client, gross. And we're tattooers, and sometimes, there's there's a lot of things in the air that we should be caring about airborne pathogens just as much as we care about bloodborne pathogens, and anything to protect ourselves from the possibility of one of our clients being sick with anything. So I think, tattooers, medical practitioners, like anyone that's dealing with open, wounds, COVID or not, we should be protecting ourselves and our other clients as well. So that's why I make clients for them.
I mean, hopefully it won't be for much longer.
Yeah. I can't speculate. I mean, I understand, like, to a point about viruses and things like that. But I think it's going to be like the flu. You get the flu shot and things like that. They're saying they're working on a pill to help you get through the virus once you get it.
Saw that too.
I saw that. And I mean, I'm at this point, like, I know I'm a young girl, that can take, getting sick, but I don't know about, I don't know about my client's grandma, that they're really, like, hoping that they can see, I just saw my dad for the first time in 2 years,
Wow.
like, that was cool. Yeah. And then I'm, making sure that I'm ready to, travel, and I'm ready to see my niece at the end of the traveling. And I'm, so I'm like, I have all these things going on, and I want to make sure that I'm protecting myself, so I can do those things.
Sure.
So I don't hurt anyone around me.
A friend of mine on the Facebook, he just mentioned he lost one of his tattooer friends to the COVID.
Oh.
And the guy looked like he was fucking younger than me. I'm just like, fuck.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, it's made public, but James Bond, I actually, like, had a moment of, like, oh no, not James. Like, I mean, not anybody, but I don't know, it just really hit home. And I'm glad that he is doing much better,
He made it out. Is he off the
he's off, and last I checked, he had surgery, and it's been, I need to check in and see where he's at now. My friend Robbie had it. My friend Todd.
Robbie Ripple.
Oh, Robbie Ripple. Yeah, my friend Todd Williams. He had it really bad, and I just like, and not everyone's healthy at tattoos, that too. Like, sure, I'm healthy, but I've worked on that my entire career. There's some tattooers that have, like, been literally living off of McDonald's and sitting for decades. like they could have a blood clot that's just secretly hanging out, and so be mindful of your tattooer, like we might seem all tough and stuff, but we're not. We're just as feeble as anyone else. And if we get sick, no one's there to pick us up. Like we don't have sick days. We don't have, my freaking insurance agent came in here not wanting to wear a mask. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, yeah. And I called him a Rick, and he was like, what are you? Oh my God. I literally, what did I say to him? That he was like, I'm not, no. I was like, you're acting like a rich, spoiled prick. What are you doing? And he was like, I'm not a rich, spoiled prick. I was like, well, you're going over to independent artists without a mask and complaining about it while you're trying to also sell us insurance. Are you crazy? Like, are you actually crazy? And so he got it at least. I was like, you do realize we don't have sick days. We do realize that if I'm sick, then all of us have to go home and quarantine. And
for weeks.
Like, for weeks. Yeah. And I was like, what if something happens in the studio? What if something, Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't think that people understand also the anxiety of just like being a small business owner. I have a sign on my door that says, are you wearing your mask? Number 2, are you being considerate of the small business? Number 3, did you read all the signs? We have lots and lots of mask signs on our door, and people just don't want to see them sometimes.
Right. Okay, so I've got a couple more questions. Mr. Iron Hex is asking, what is it? So maybe it's because your arm was in the way at the time, but it's obvious, or it's a blue jay. It's a watercolor.
Yeah.
And then Matthew Jackson says, painting looks gorgeous. I love painting, tattooing wildlife. Do you have any tips for wildlife? Before you answer, I'm going to do my best to start being more active in Rhode Island. So I'll just interject real quick before you talk about wildlife tips that Jiminy Peak is probably 2.5 hours from wherever you are in Rhode Island. So if you're around October 3rd to the 6th, yeah, you can catch up with us all in person. But Matt, you're obviously been catching a lot of these shows, so you must be aware of it already. So I don't mean to badger you into it. Anyways, so tips on tattooing or painting wildlife.
Yeah. Well, I have some background in field biology, and that's where I got the plein air and also into painting wildlife, and studying them and loving them and understanding a couple things. One, I do like to pair my animal with plants that they would actually be around. It's kind of like the Egyptians would give or like paint totems of like animals and also give them food and also give them comforts, and also so I think as we're immortalizing this creature, that we should at least give it like proper plant life that makes sense. So you wouldn't put like, I don't know, a seagull with a pine tree, or you wouldn't put like, just be mindful of it. I think also like pay attention to your animals, and references are a thing. I have a huge library in my studio full of references. Like old books from the 70s to old English walkabouts, like biological walkabouts, which is like old accounts of, I'm a real big nerd, so I'm sorry for anyone that's like, what is she talking about? But I love reading old Victorian English walkabouts. They're biological studies of a time of it's like doing a landscape but writing it down. I don't know, and they'll discuss like birds, and they'll discuss animals, and they'll plant life, and kind of like paint you a picture of like the environment. So it's kind of just fun to visualize that and then look at pictures, because a lot of times we're just looking at these stagnant photos. We don't really understand like the weather. We don't understand I don't know, just like little key points. I also like to get my references, if I can, from nature. Like I think this is a Google, but like sometimes a lot of my birds I'll actually take from the tree outside, like put out some bird seed and just wait around. Sometimes I'll take videos. This is a good tip. I'll take videos of the animal that I'm trying to capture, and I'll play with them, especially birds. I'll like feed them over here. I'll feed them over here. I'll like, do weird things with my hands to see how they react. And I'll videotape it so then I can slow it down and I can find what panel or what scene I want from them or what pose I want from them pretty easily, instead of trying to take like 1,000 photos and each time it comes out blurry. You have now a video of them that's like really clear and you can see the movement, so you can exaggerate it in whichever way you want to. So that's a huge tip. And I'll do that also with my flower references. A lot of times, like when we're out and about, you're just like, oh, those flowers are beautiful. And you're just taking shots. But a lot of us aren't trained photographers, so we get home and we look at our references of all these flora and fauna we took for our tattoos, right? And they're terrible. The lighting is terrible. The reference is terrible. You like maybe get a good outline out of it, but if you're trying to do realism, it's almost impossible to use. So I'll actually like hold the flower and find some good lighting and then take a video of it in a bunch of different ways. So then I can use that reference and conform it to however I need to draw. But also, I don't know. Those are some key ones that I think about when I'm doing wildlife tattoos. Those are some really key points just to make sure that if you have a forest, you're not putting the wrong animals in there. And yeah, just I think of like telling a little story. I think about what's the noun, the verb, the adjective. What is your subject? What is that subject doing? And how does it look? And what is it, like try to create like a nice, well-balanced story with your piece, because these animals are alive. And we love wildlife tattoos because they are usually in motion. They are, doing something. They have a life. We're trying to, glorify them by either painting them or tattooing them. So why not glorify them to as much as you can? And there's, texture. Don't get lazy with texture. Like black cats, black crows or ravens. If you're doing a color tattoo of a crow and a raven, take a good look at a crow and a raven in the sunlight and see the iridescence and the oil slick that they have of purples and greens and all kinds of things. Pay close attention to the reflective colors that are shining off of them, because then you can implement that in your tattoo. Or sometimes like neo-traditional artists just naturally do it. And I like looking at how they kind of pick up those colors as well. They sometimes can simplify it really well. But even black cats, they are not necessarily just all black. So I've seen just some things like that always kind of irk me a little bit. Also with birds, birds have eyelids. Animals have eyelids, guys. We see more eyelids on our animals. See this little eyelid? I have this. Oh, I have an eyelid. I have an inner lid, and then I've got that little bird. They have that little baby feather tuft that goes around the eye to protect it. And that's what will give your animals life and spark and make them look, like they're present, they're real, their eyes are shiny, they're real, they have depth, you can see it. I know my mom pointed that one out. She's like, "Oh, your birds look so real." And I'm like, "It's the eyes." Purely the eyes. That's it. So yeah. And nature does natural compositions too, pretty easily. If you look at just like groupings of leaves of 3, I don't know, like, yeah, leaves are really easy to incorporate mostly in anything. Make sure your flowers, make sure your flowers are like the right sizes. I see very small flowers sometimes, and that's not going to heal very well if you're trying to tattoo them very small.
The one thing I would say with like the flowers or the plant life is to definitely pay attention to like the mathematical way that they have sizes. There's as far as the leaves getting bigger or smaller and whatnot. Sometimes you see people, they'll just like the size of all of the leaves or all of the little fingers on the leaves are all the same.
Oh yes.
Whereas usually they're almost inevitably always some sort of ratios or some sort of natural patterns or progressions that if you don't get those natural patterns, then the eye notices, but you might not know why. You just notice.
Right, you notice. Actually, that's a really good point. I have a newer apprentice, and her assignment this whole month is to be, because she's got a couple different assignments that she was already on. So is to just like I learned in school for field biology, you have a little book or little sketchbook. Each page you do a flat version of that leaf, and you really study its veins and its stems and its mathematical equation, like what makes that leaf that leaf. How does it make it identifiable? So, and then next to that, you can draw it folding. You can draw it folding the other way. You can pull it, crease it in half, draw it that way, and have a whole page of the example of how this leaf interacts. If it's blowing in the wind, if it's being crumpled, if it's older, if it starts getting crunchy, if it tears a little, and you have a whole example of how that leaf interacts, and that's just doing a study. So later on, you can make sure that, I know that leaf, and I have different variances of that leaf that I can do. So that gives it a little bit more realism too. The more variance you give it, that's realistic and believable, then it makes it more realistic. So that's an excellent
definitely always encourage people when they're practicing the realism skills, especially the realism tattooing skills. Animals are awesome things to practice on, because when you're practicing on people, like you could tell right away if that picture looks like your sister or your cousin. If all of a sudden that you get a little bit off on the features, and it's like, that doesn't look like Roger, that looks like some really twisted version of Roger with a big nose and a cheek that's fucked up. But on the other hand, if you're doing your dog, or your cat, or animals, you have a little bit more leeway with if somebody's doing a realistic wolf, if it looks like the wolf's cousin, no one cares, no one even notices.
No one cares. But that's a good point to, like, what if it's your dog? So I actually for pet portraits, since I do a lot of them, I do a lot of them. Not like my Instagram shows. I do so many of them. For pet portraits particularly, because you can practice on wildlife, you can practice on Google wolves all day long. But if someone brings you a picture of their dog that just died, and they have, like, I always ask for several photos. Okay, so this is some nice advice. I always ask for at least 5 photos, and I explain to them what kind of views are best. So like a 3/4 view is really good, and also well lit. So I always discuss, like, no bright shinies on the face. I want to see everything very clear. I talk about, like, if you have dramatic lighting, that's even better. I can work with that too. And I show them examples as well. But it's really important to know an anatomy of animals. So you know what to highlight, or to, make a little bit bolder from their animal. Like, I always like talking to my client about, like, what was your dog like? Was it a grumpy dog? Was it a sad dog? Was it a very happy dog? Was it, like, what was his personality like? Did it have a derp moment? Like, I ask all these things, because then I can take that drawing and know where to really, really concentrate my details on. So if they always looked worried, I know to go in their eyebrows, right? And just, like, add a little bit more oomph to the shading of their eyebrows, so you can see that shadow, you can see that worried look, and that took studying animals. Like, I don't like doing people faces necessarily, that are portraits. I'm just recently, in the last, like, 3 years, really gotten used to, like, just faces, but stylized. Because I don't know the human face anatomy so much, but I know animal face anatomy very well. And so it's important to ask that of your client, to, like, talk about, like, what they noticed about their animal before they pass. Or sometimes you can just see it in the photo as well, and then you can always, like, oh, this was this kind of baby, and they're like, oh yes. So you can accentuate that, and then when they are done with their portrait, they're just blown away, because you've actually, like, given them their animal, not just a dog, not just any other Google cat. People ask me all the time if the cat on my arm is my cat, and I'm like, well, yeah, of course. But it looks like, I don't know. That's kind of my reasoning behind it, is really trying to boost up, like their animal's personality with their facial features. Most people.
So Matt,
Mhm.
oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Matt Jackson in the chat room is asking what kind of brushes you're using.
Oh, these are they're just called, I'm pretty sure these are just called like silver collapsible travel watercolor brushes. Oop, and they go like that. Be kind of careful. And they're fairly priced too. The bigger you get with them, the more expensive. And I honestly found online, I was trying these guys beforehand, and I really do like them. I'm gonna play with them a little bit more, but I just found them online. Like I just kind of typed in like watercolor brush sets, and I saw these. I was like, I tried it. I ordered a bunch of them, and so far I like these. But these are the ones I use the most or have used, and you can tell I'm like taping them together, and I've definitely used them a lot.
Nice.
But yeah.
So just so you know, we do have guys exercises starting in about 15 minutes.
Yes, and I'm
So,
like almost done, so that's perfect. I can't believe I did
perfect
it.
time.
I did it. I did it, Gabe. I did it.
Yeah, it was awesome. The
Yeah.
last time I was like, we're gonna blow right by the 3 hours, and it was cool to go over. I have no problems going over, but this is perfect timing.
Oh yeah, this is great. Like, look at that. Boom. And like done pretty much. So hell yeah.
That's great.
Checking my reference.
Can you take your camera off when you're done, ready to sign it? Can you take your camera off and zoom in at all, or is that
Oh yeah.
not in the cards?
It's gonna be kind of shaky. Okay. Ta-da-da. And we have a
Cool.
nice. Pretty nice. The background's definitely really abstract, but I kind of like it. And then yeah, so I try to get really detailed, and with the bird, I did go a little detailed with my greenery here, but yeah, I'm probably gonna take like a little eye break from it and come back and see if there's anything else I can add to it. That's also another tip when you're painting. Take a little eye break, go look outside, go focus on something else for a second, and then come back to it, especially if you have a good reference, which that's my reference right there. Check that out. And then come back and just see, you can see a lot easier if there's anything you want to do to it was just resting your eyes and your brain. And yeah, so yeah, that's it. If anyone has any questions, feel free to still write it on there, and I can always address it next time. But that's it.
Well, actually, the chat room ended up disappearing. What's a good way for people to get in touch with you directly?
Oh yes, you can either get a hold of me directly through my Gmail, which is Renee Little Tattoos, plural, @gmail.com, or if you want to just slide me a DM, if it's non-tattoo related, you can usually see it and answer it pretty quickly. And that's Renee Little Tattoos on Instagram and Facebook, and yeah, that's all. That's all I'm on. Or no, I'm on TikTok, Renee Little Tattoos. I don't check that though, so don't do that. But yeah, if you want to just hit me up, I do a lot of things, but I always try to check all my messages. So little quick responses about what I'm doing, I can always address them to you. I might actually post this so people can leave questions on it as well. And yeah.
And then lastly, you have your tattoo shop. You accept guests. Are you hiring any residents, or what's?
As of right now, we are a full shop. The last month. I will be building another guest artist booth, or right now we have limited options for guest artists. Basically taking over my booth when I travel. So if you'd like to guest spot, it's at Goldfin Gallery in Oklahoma City. We're right downtown, and we are a safe, progressive, eco-friendly tattoo studio that accept all kinds, except jerks. Of course. But it's a giant gallery. So if you're also a painter, I do not mind you coming and sharing us with your beautiful love and gift of painting. We are COVID friendly, so we try to have everyone masked within studio. So I always ask everyone to be respectful of that. But until I build out another booth, yeah, we're having to do it when I travel, or if I have days off, which I do take plenty of days off. But
Hey,
yeah,
there's no reason to, I would always advise people to only expand in the health of a business, because it's way easier to turn away clients than it is, to your point earlier, than to bring in a toxic personality by accident.
exactly, exactly. And I'm at the point now where, yeah, the people who do like to guest spot, they we have like a nice like little, they've been my close friends and family for a very long time. And so they stay with me and we just rotate out my booth and it's fine. But yeah, as soon as I literally was done building a booth, then it was needed by someone locally who was also escaping the misogyny. So
Uh,
we got her in real quick and she's awesome. So
Sweet.
yeah. So yeah, hit me up if you're ever interested in stopping by the studio, if you're ever in the area, or if you're just needing a place in OKC to work. Hit me up at Lisa. I know plenty of people that are also safe and friendly and are neighbors, and we love them. And so I can always refer you. I'm a great referral service as well.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I'm going to book you over to guys. And I don't know. Do you have any? Do you have a bowl of fruit? You want to keep painting a bowl of fruit? That's what's up next with Guy.
Oh yeah, I mean I could make a bowl of fruit. Yeah,
I could.
maybe.
I'll send you over. I can send you
Yeah,
over the
send
link
me
if
a
you want.
link. Okay. Yeah.
Perfect.
I'll check what time it is.
Cool.
Oh, it's not too late. Yeah, I can join for a little bit and paint some bowl of fruit. That'd be fun.
Sweet. Awesome.
Okay, cool.
Well, thanks again, everybody, for watching. Thanks, Renee, for making this happen. And I'm going to click the end meeting button, and we'll catch up. Well, hey, we'll catch up like fucking in like
Oh,
5 days, 6 days.